right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. You know what? Before you guys even go off and go, what the hell is Psycho? It's Tuesday, not Wednesday. Yeah, I know. It's kind of a surprise stream, if you will. I kind of did let on Saturday that I maybe was going to be doing this. There's been lots of things going on in Psycho's world this week alone, and it's only Tuesday. But I appreciate everyone and anyone. Hey, this is a surprise. This time, George is the winner of being the first one to, and go subscribe to George's channel. George, I'll admit, I do try to see your videos when I can. It just gets, I try to like squirrel away time every week to watch other people's videos. Sometimes it's wrestling videos. Sometimes it's music videos, and of course, sometimes it's everybody out there in the YouTube vinyl community. Just being honest with you, my friend, just being honest. Glad to see, of course, that Frank Valley is still here with us. Although I don't want to start nothing, but I've been starting to read reports. And I mean, if this is the case, then I don't know. Is backing tapes getting used? That's the rumors I've been hearing the last week or two. Because if that's the case, I mean, I love seeing him up on stage, okay, but maybe it's time for him to retire. I hate to say that in 2024. I could be completely wrong here. I'm just going by what I've read. And I know you're probably going to say, who's the sources? Yeah, I'm sorry. I honestly do not remember the sources. Unfortunately, when I read some of the things around here, I should probably write stuff down. That probably would behoove everyone down the line. But I'm just like, okay, oh, interesting on that. All right. Next topic. Maybe it's my ADD-ness. Hey, Mick, how you doing? But yeah, so... but needless to say, we're still glad Frankie Valli is here in the world. Maybe if it's true, maybe it's time for him to. Isn't this his farewell tour anyway? So it's like he can go graceful and finish. Of course, today, I have alerted all the VC Justice League members. Hopefully they'll be able to come across here later on in the video. Of course, we will discuss today's title, Tell Me Pretty Baby, on the round trip to the Man of Miracles. That's right. I love coming up with these titles for you guys. It's interesting and challenging. And believe it or not, it only takes me about a minute or two to assemble. And I'm just like, okay, this works. I like it. Excuse me. So lots of different things, of course. Before we get any more started, if you will. New subscribers in the Psycho's Platters Network. That's right, new subscribers. There's 2 that were shown this time, but boy, did we go up. We got I'm not kidding you, close to 15 new subscribers in the last week. You people are amazing. But the 2 that popped up in the feed, Wax and Relax, Vinyl Listening Room, and Kingfish 42,000. That's right. That sounds like a model for a fishing sonar or something. I don't know. Either that or the 42,000th performance from the band Kingfish from the 1970s. Wasn't Kingfish a character in a radio drama in the 30s? I won't mention where. You guys can figure that one out yourselves. So that's new subscribers today. Also, this video in tribute to 2 people that I know of in passing. If there was more, put them in the comments that I don't know about. But one is a musician, one is an actor. Herbie Flowers, of course, passed away. Session bassist extraordinaire. Just to glean over things, he did start in the mid-1950s musical career in a way with the Royal Air Force. That's where he got started when he was a kid. Hey, Tyler, how you doing? or more like, excuse me, a late teenager. I'm glad to have everybody here today. So, but by the late 60s, he was a sessioner for Shel Talmy, Mickey Most, and others. Okay, you guys that love your English rock know who those people are. He ended up being a founding member of the band Blue Mink. Maybe. Anyway, listen, Tyler. I've only been on 5.5 minutes. You people are starting. I'm teasing. And Rumpelstiltskin was another band, believe it or not, they helped form, right? I never heard of Rumpelstiltskin. I don't know. What was that fairy tale about Rumpelstiltskin? He was the guy that, what was it with the princess and some, I don't know, Find My Name or some crap. You know what would have been a real bitch of a fairy tale is if you took Rumpelstiltskin and Mr. Mxyzptlk from Superman. I wouldn't want to be locked in a dungeon. I'd be there forever, and so would my bones return to dust, because I would never be able to figure out that the gentleman's name was Rumpelstiltskin Mxyzptlk. I'd be screwed to no end. And anybody that would actually properly guess that, you, in your own heart and brain, won 10,000 lotteries for figuring out that guy's name was Rumpelstiltskin Mxyzptlk. There's a name for you. Quick, I'll go trademark that. No, I couldn't do that. I'd be sued. Anywho, so Herbie Flowers passed away. James Earl Jones, for our actor today, he got started in the 50s, though, all right, through theater and stuff like that. But his first, and I didn't realize this, I almost should probably go back into this movie. I haven't watched it in at least 5 to 10 years, though. He's in Dr. Strangeglove. Yeah, you know, Peter Sellers, Slim Pickens, all those people, right? Strange movie, but really good. But he's in there. That's his first. I think he plays a minor part in Doctor Strangeglove. Glove. That's if you're drowning in your Doctor Strangeglove. And then the last movie, because he went back to screen and TV. Yes, we know he was on The Big Bang Theory and a few other things, but Angriest Man in Brooklyn. 2014 with Robin Williams. Yeah, 2 years before he died. And I realized, of course, looking into this, that he fit in 50 years of on and off in film. And of course, we all know him as the voice of Darth Vader from the Star Wars trilogy and then some. Anytime, listen, let's face it, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, when you take a look at a picture of Darth Vader, whether it be in a book, a poster, in front of your face, as he's strangling you with the Force, you picture James Earl Jones's voice. You can hear it instantly, right? There's not that many people in Hollywood pop culture that you could say that about, maybe. But I always liked him. I liked him in Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Eventually, I want to go to that field in Iowa. I really do. And I would like to play an inning. Psycho's kind of fat and Carlican, but at least I'd like to do some batting practice. Yeah. I was an okay batter. I would have been one of those ones if I ever, would have been toned and a little bit better. I have a bad feeling I would have been like Charlie Brown's favorite player, Joe Zablotnik, and the one that only had like his batting average was maybe in the 230s, and maybe he was lucky to get a couple home runs in his whole career. It's probably this guy here. As far as for what would have been my favorite position, till my knees got all fucked up, catcher. I think I would have been a decent catcher, to be honest with you. I know to be an outfielder, you got to have a good set of legs, but I don't know. Maybe short, maybe shortstop. I don't know. I think maybe I would have been all right. Okay, shortstop, but most of the time I played catcher when I was in the baseball, softball type shit before I screwed up my legs. Hey Mason, how you doing? Did I alert you? I can't remember if I did or not. I am so sorry. I just went with like the first 10, 15 people that were. I know you and I are on Facebook Messenger, so sorry if I didn't. I don't know exactly everybody I texted on this, but yeah, eventually I'd like to go to Field of Dreams in Iowa. I remember the one time I was supposed to go. This was in the '90s. Was a little bit of a field trip, if you will. I was going to take my stepson with me, and this was when I lived in northern Illinois. And I was going to take. We were going to go to Galena, if anybody knows where Galena, Illinois is. Really nice town, actually. So I'm told. I still have yet to get over there. But and in the '80s and '90s, and I think even the late '90s and early '00s, Galena was the the pre-game practices for the Chicago Bears. Now it's in Bourbonnais, Illinois, but I just would have like done at least an overnighter near Galena and gone and at least tried to catch a game, followed by going to Dubuque, Iowa. I think wasn't Dubuque, Iowa, the AAA farm club for the Cubs. And I would have loved to have done that. Unfortunately, hey Mike, how you doing? Unfortunately, that week, I'm not kidding here. Thank God I didn't make those reservations. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you here too. I haven't seen you over here in a while. And there was a huge flood, seriously, off the Mississippi that took out Sec Taylor Stadium, which is where the AAA Cubs were in Iowa. And I mean, I saw the pictures. I was like, oh my God. I said, so much for that. That's not happening. And so basically, because I couldn't get out there, I was also going to try to visit Cedar Rapids because of the Colonels there and a few others. I love minor league baseball. I do. But like I said, I'm ashamed I haven't been able to go in the last couple of years because it was just so fucking hot. It was so hot. And even one of my managers up front says, but that's what baseball is. I'm like, right. And you're younger than me, sir. Okay. And I'm not trying to use age as an excuse, but hear me out for 2 seconds. So in my teens, my 20s, my 30s, almost my early 40s, I could deal with extreme heat. Okay. You wear a hat, you hydrate, and all that. But when, even in the covered sections, you're still broiling, if it's like 100 and over on the, those baseball players have got more to worry about than we do. But that's why I'm not kidding you. The last 3 summers have been brutal. All right. Like today, I think it's between 80 and 85 today out there. I actually tried having the AC off for a couple days. I only got to do parts. But I do love me some minor league baseball. That would be something I would love to do for a trip, is like maybe go east to west and just hit up all of these minor league parks. I don't know, maybe single A, double A. I think I'd rather do that. I mean, if there's a big triple A along the way, then sure, okay. But I've heard from other people that even these hell, even the double A, okay, the last couple games I went to, and I'll tell you, it's called the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. This is my minor league, not mine, I don't own it, but the minor league team in Springdale, Arkansas, okay? They're double A Kansas City Royals. They have been since 2008 when they had their first season. We had some really good players come out of there. Some even made it to the World Series in 15, okay? I could say I was watching the game. What was it? Royals Mets, right? And I'm watching, like, I've met that dude. Like, let's see. One of them was called Moose. His nickname was, I can't remember. Clint Robinson. There was a few other ones. Some got traded to other major league teams, but I'm like, I got to see this dude play and this dude play. The first one that came out of there, oh God, what's his name? It was a Hawaiian name. It was real good though. Kawani Lai. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, but he was like a superstar for a little while, and then I don't know whatever happened to him. But he was our first one, and then we just kept having other ones. But the last couple seasons at Springdale in the Northwest Naturals, some of these kids already have attitudes already. Now, I don't mind if you got a cocky attitude. You kind of have to have that for baseball, but not when it comes to people trying to ask for autographs and their kids. The majors shouldn't even be having that attitude either, but that the AA kids are already starting to get it. I'm going, I don't know, whatever. I know I'm just talking out of my ass. Oh, man, oh, man. Hey, Morton, how you doing? Talking to the Iowa. It's like you knew this Norwegian baseball fan was honestly. Yeah, I wish I someday I'll get over there. Hey, John, how you doing? I've seen Class A short baseball season. Yeah, now for anybody out there, there's full season Class A, and then there's Class A short. And if I remember right, the short is like, 8 weeks, and then the regular is 12, if I remember right. I could be wrong on that. At least it was back when I was following a lot more heavier. Hi, Brian, how you doing? I tend to stay away from the coverage sections, Paul. The coverings tend to get in my way of yelling at clowns. But at least I get to scream at kids, get off my AstroTurf. I love that. That's funny. God, we're grass. We're grass over in Springdale. And then the only other ones, Little Rock down here has got the Arkansas Travelers, which I think last time I checked was Angels AA. Mike Trout came out of there. Yeah, all the baseball card enthusiasts and sports enthusiasts love Mike Trout. And I'm not going to lie, I think I saw one of Mike Trout's last AA games because there used to be a handful of series between the two teams, okay? So I got to see them. I did go off and visit the Springfield Cardinals in Springfield, Missouri. Yes, for you Redbirds represent. I don't know. I got to admit, I mean, the ballpark was nice inside, but it was kind of weirdly placed, this stadium. Not only that, the parking was ridiculously priced. The concessions are ridiculously priced. I remember when, even a few years ago, the concessions in the ballpark, I'm afraid to see what it looks like now. But like the last time I went was like 2019 before the COVID nonsense. And it was reasonably priced. It really was in 2019. Now I'm talking AA, not majors. It has never been cheap in the majors, ever. Tulsa Drillers, Brian, very good. Eventually, I want to go catch, they're still there. I want to go catch a Tulsa Driller game too. They now, maybe you already know this already, but they've got an indoor football team also called the Tulsa Drillers, and then they have a hockey team called the Tulsa Oilers. So there's a lot of minors in the thing. The Port Lake, nice team though, nice sounding team. Yeah, I wish I could tell you that I met Mike, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if I did. My memory ain't so good anymore. It's like most of the time, and I feel bad about this, but most of the time, I gravitate towards the home team when it comes for signatures. Like, okay, so when I used to go to Wrigley Field a lot in the late 80s to around 2000, okay? Even by 2000, it was starting not to get real fun anymore as far as for autograph stuff was concerned. But the days of when the team players had a single parking lot, when they went to the double parking lot fenced in, that's when the fun sort of ended because the really good players had the first spots, which The second lot would be your Midland to lesser players. Okay. Me, I wasn't picky. I like just, hey, you play for the team. Can I have your autograph, please? But back in the days of the single parking lot, boy, I probably met, I'm not kidding you, I probably met just about everybody Cub wise from 1987 to maybe 97, 98, I think. And then, like I said, I started kind of winding down. I don't know why, around 2000, maybe 2001 tops was the last time that I went to Wrigley. Yeah, I know. I don't know why. Probably life. And hey, Grateful, how you doing? Grew up with oils. My best childhood friends is the oh, that's cool. Yes, I heard. You know what? My boss right now is a huge soccer fan. I told him about the Tulsa thing. In fact, oh, 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 that's too bad. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I profess to be a Cub fan, of course, but I'm like, I don't follow religiously like I used to. Okay, I want to. I hate to say this, and I don't know if you, the 21 people I have in this thing right now, um, if you're sports fans or not, but the COVID nonsense when they put the stop to all of it, I was just like, well, what the hell? Okay. When they restarted back up, I was just like, for some reason, my interest fell 50 to 75%. I'm serious. I mean, I probably haven't watched, well, I haven't, like I said, I haven't been to a minor league ball game in 5 years, 3 years because of the heat. In 2020 and 2021, if I remember correctly, they didn't have a season here. They did. That was it. So that kind of puts the kibosh on things, really. But Walker and Helton both spent most and all their careers in Denver and are now Hall of Fame. Well, that's cool. That ain't bad. And the city loves them. Hey, this Norwegian is a Rockies fan. He's Rocky Mountain High, ladies and gentlemen, and he's drinking his Coors and smoking a big John Denver Spliffy. I said Spliffy. Anywho, if anybody cares, I will plop this. I know a lot of you people are used to me being on Saturdays and Wednesdays. And I'm not saying I'm not going to do one tomorrow. I didn't say that at all. But if I'm going to, it might be earlier than usual. I found out that my schedule, yes, the panel is open. I went and dropped that. So, oh, and hey, my first one, there he is in Texas, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mason. How are you, sir?
All right, let's get the party going. I'm surprised you don't already have a crowd over here.
Oh, that's just because I just put up the invite now. I usually yap by myself for about anywhere from 15 to about, well, let's see, it's almost 25 minutes. Just to play catch up on things, that's all.
Can't wait to see what kind of unfiltered, uh,
Nonsense.
yes, unfiltered nonsense will commence this stream.
Up and all the way from Tokyo. See, we got Texas and Tokyo. Brian, how are
Hey
you
there,
doing, sir?
guys.
How was your evening?
Nice.
See, I think it's evening, right? Or is it morning already again? I can
It's
feel so
morning. I'm
confused.
making blueberry pancakes for
Hell
my kids.
yeah. Yeah. Oh,
So,
I'd like some. This is from the
hey,
fat ass that just ate Burger King.
hey, I got a great story for you. A quick one.
Yes.
I do
Okay.
I do have to go because the kids are waking up here soon. But
Okay.
have you ever heard the story of Randy Bass? Ball player named Randy Bass? Okay, probably not. He's an
No.
Oklahoman, and he was a state senator after he had a crazy baseball career. Okay, so this guy played in minor league ball. He went up and down to the majors a couple of times. He had some sort of like unnoteworthy career. He had this big handlebar mustache from the '70s. He kind of looked like Raleigh Fingers, and he
Oh my
he
God.
uh,
Okay.
he was a slugger, and he was a like a pinch hitter, and like he just like he played for like 20 teams, and finally in his last year he went to Japan. He came to Japan, and he
Uh,
played for the Hanshin Tigers, and he lit on
I've heard
fire
of that.
here.
Yeah, I've heard
Yes.
that team.
So
So he
he
finally, the success story, finally 20 teams, and he lands in Japan, and he's the savior.
Well, what's hilarious is that he became like a super sensation here, and like huge fandom, and people, cheering, super fans, and people, wearing, mustaches and things like this. Then he was playing for the Hanshin Tigers, who are essentially like the Red Sox to the Yankees, to the Tokyo Giants Yankees. It's this big rival, the Osaka versus Tokyo team. So he played for the Tigers, and he was hitting like so many home runs that the newspapers were saying things like Bass. His name is Bass, but the headline would be in the Japanese letters like Bass explodes, Bass hits another wall, and the fans would the newspaper got recommendation from the public saying like you guys can't say the headlines that like bus explodes, because the readers read it as like a bus is exploding. And
Oh,
anyway,
oh,
so he
oh.
was, and now, well, anyway, so he and sorry, here the Tigers go against the Giants in the World Series. The Tigers are like the bad news bears. They haven't been to the series and since the beginning. They get him there, and he gets them there, and then like in the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, full count, down by 3, he hits like a grand slam, like Kirk Gibson style home run, and the town lights up, and it goes in absolutely insane. He wins the team their first pennant, and there's this bridge in Osaka, in this sort of entertainment district called the Dotonbori Bridge, and the party like spilled over to this bridge, and there was just revelers everywhere around the river. And when the town goes really bonkers, they jump into the river, and it's like people get naked and they spazai and they jump into the river. So these guys, like the fans, whoever, they went through the roster, and when like if you were like Sakamoto and you had a Sakamoto jersey, the Sakamoto guy jumped into the river, and then they were like, oh, we need a Hashimoto, and then Hashimoto jumped in the river. And when it came time to like salute Randy Bass, they didn't have anybody in the audience, anybody in the crowd who was like had a likeness to him. So they went to the local Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they ripped the Colonel Sanders mascot off of the stand, and they paraded it over to the river, and they were screaming because he had the mustache and everything. He looked like Randy Bass, and they threw they threw Colonel Sanders into the river. Okay, now wait, this story gets even better.
Our sister, yes.
So the next year, the Hanshin Tigers fall into last place,
Oh no.
and they are nervous about this horrible season after a championship. The next year, they fall into last place. The next year, they're in last place, and people start to wonder if there's a curse on the team, maybe the curse of the Colonel. So you have to look this up.
Oh.
Look at the curse of the Colonel, because Osaka started believing that only until the Colonel Sanders be returned to his rightful place at the KFC near Tontomberry would the curse be broken and the Tigers win the series. So residents of the city took it upon themselves to start scuba diving in the river looking for the Colonel Sanders, and they looked for him for years and they couldn't find him. And
Uh-oh.
after like 20 years of dredging the river and like people going down there, they found the statue. They thought it was like a barrel or something, and they pulled him back and they put it back in the original place. And guess what happened? The next year, the Osaka Tigers went to the series. Okay, but the plot thickens a little bit. They went to the series, and they lost in like the last game, and the curse was nearly broken. But Colonel Sanders' famous bow tie was not found, and neither was his
Shit.
glasses. And
Oh
and they
no.
say that until the glasses and until the bow tie are found, will the curse officially be broken.
Oh my
But Randy
God.
Bass went on to become a state senator in Oklahoma, and I think he's since retired from that position. But he's still an enormous legend here. He is the Babe Ruth of Japanese baseball. He is. They actually. He was gonna Sadaharu Oh, who is kind of the Babe Ruth of Japan. He they stopped pitching to Bass so that they wouldn't so that he wouldn't break the record and hold the Japanese home run slugger record. They stopped pitching to Bass at the height of his career in this
Wow.
big injustice to him. And he gets off the plane here and there's legions of fans following him. I think he has like a 10,000 head cattle ranch in Lawton, Oklahoma, and he's
Nice.
got like this beef jerky business that he's huge. Like you Bass beef jerky is all over Osaka, and he comes here every year and he does like a goodwill tour, and
Uh-huh.
he's got his Randy Bass, and he's got this bus that drives around the city, and he wears the Santa Claus outfit, and he dresses up as and he does charity projects. Yeah, Randy Bass. And you talk to any Japanese fan, and they're like, "Do you know anything about baseball?" I don't know anything about baseball, but I know Randy Bass. It's the only thing. It's like it literally is the Babe Ruth of Japan. Really great story. I'm happy that you let me share that, Paul.
Yeah,
Thanks.
hang on a second. Don't run away yet.
The curse of the Colonel. Is the curse broken? Is it not broken? We're still we might still be living in the curse. And I don't know Japanese baseball back and forth. The Giants may have won since, but this was sort of like in the, I want to say like early '90s when they went back.
The Psycho
Listen,
Platters movie, The
the search
Search
for
for
the Colonel
Colonel's
part. Yeah, there
Parts
you
and
go.
Randy Bass, coming soon to Psycho Platters. See, now I
Isn't
gotta
that a
find
riot?
Randy. I gotta find fucking Randy Lawton, Oklahoma. I'll be looking because I'm not
It's
kidding. I'd love to have him on just for that story, just to hear it. I gotta have it.
I've written his office before. When I do this I do this project, and I was like, oh, when I found out he was from Oklahoma, where I'm from Tulsa, and I I reached out to him, and he did get back to me. I did. He's accessible. I don't know if it didn't kind of like end up. It didn't come together in the end. But you could track him down. I don't know. He's
Oh.
probably a few. He's older. But
I just might do that seriously. Oh my god, I like having all different kinds of things on when I can. I in fact reached out. Speaking of, I guess this is a mini commercial for this. I just reached out today after initial talks yesterday. Coming probably in October. We're still hoping to have Double D on for October, but we are looking into getting a minor author. Okay, he has
Cool.
published 2 books on 70s bands. He is starting another project on another 70s. This is like Illinois, Missouri centric, but they were big namers that went out and about into the concert scenes of the mid 70s to mid 80s was their strong point. But I'm not going to mention any more than that at this point. But he seems very receptive.
Intriguing.
Yes, he seems very
Very
receptive.
intriguing.
I'm trying around here. I don't want to have always just the same. I want to have 1 to 2 interviews a month, and I am trying to reach out to several different people at one time. So, in fact, I have to make.
Mason, I haven't said hello
Yes.
to you before. I've only been on Psycho Platter's stream once or twice. So hello, nice to meet you. I'm in Japan. I'm Brian. I'm in Japan, and it's breakfast time here. So I'm gonna actually have to hop off and go finish breakfast. But thanks for having me up, Paul, and nice to meet you, Mason. And hello, Peanuts, and thanks for letting me share that rather self-indulgent story. I quite like talking about Randy Bass. Okay. Paul had to dash, but I got to dash too. See you guys next time. Bye, Paul.
Take care.
Thanks, Brian, for being on. Mason, did you entertain him for a minute or two?
Uh,
So,
I don't know that it's even worth mentioning, but there's a user in the private chat that keeps requesting
I know.
to come on.
Yeah, I know.
I don't recognize the name. I don't know if there's a story behind it. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, it's. I think it's our fun person from yesterday, or not yesterday. I mean, I like his. I like his names. I'll give him that. He's he's creative in that respect. And then there was one. What? What do you mean ruin the fun? I like talking about different things, Randy. Come on. I like when you come up on here and talk about some very awesome 45s and other records and stuff like we did Saturday. I believe that even though, yes, this is supposed to be vinyl centric, I certainly do like to bring up other things too. That's all. Yeah, Mason's board was probably. Yes, yes. And Brian Mason, Mr. Show explanation, man of miracles to Sticks and Brooke Shields. What do I win? You're only half right. So you win. I can't even do a Gene Wilder. You win. Hold on a minute. You drank the fizzy colas. We had to clean up the ceiling, and blah blah blah. You get nothing, sir. Not even an everlasting gobstopper. Good
You
day,
get
sir. I say
nothing.
good
You
day.
lose. Good
Yes,
day, sir.
You lose.
Ugh.
And that would be the title of a Phil Collins album by now. But who would buy it? Yes, good seeing you again, Mason. That is a dream. Yes, that's right. Bring him on, Paul. I love a good train wreck. Choo choo, chugga chugga. Conjunction, junction. What's your function? Anyways, so how's the world according to Mason? It'd be better than Garb, that's for sure.
Well, I did a live stream today, but it was very low attended. I mean, I guess
sorry.
people aren't doing much on Tuesdays.
And you know what? I don't mind doing that so much, actually. Like this seems to be, I mean, I don't have all. It's kind of funny because, like, for the next 3 Tuesdays, today and the next 2 Tuesdays, I'm off. Next Tuesday, I may be doing another one, but it'd be earlier because next Tuesday is the first concert that I've all year. What you got? Oh, your Beatles, no, Beach Boy shirt.
Yeah, no, yeah.
My first concert of the year, because I'm like, geez, because the temperature should be half decent. We're supposed to be getting blowback from the tropical storm hurricane. I don't even know what the name is anymore. The one that's, well, probably south of you, really. But
yeah, it looks like it's hitting on the East Coast. Well, the southeast coast of us. Southeast Texas is what I'm trying to say.
So there you go. So, needless to say, so next Tuesday will be Ministry, Filter, Rob Zombie, and Alice Cooper all in one evening. I have been looking forward to this for months, and Alice does not disappoint. And I have not ever seen Ministry, Filter, or Rob Zombie, so that will also be extra bonuses for me. I've been wanting to see those bands for a long time. And then I still don't know what's going on. If I'm going to do this, I should probably pull the trigger on this already, I guess. But Buckethead is coming here Thursday the 26th downtown. I think, cheap tickets. Oh my God, they're so cheap. I can't believe it. Like $10 GA, guys, because he'll be in Tulsa 2 days before at $55 for general admission. I'm like, no, I'm not dumb. You bring your own lawn chair, but it's like, hey, to go see. Okay, I don't know. You're calling. Oh, be nice. I alerted everybody else. I don't know what's going on. I hope everybody's okay, and I hope I didn't piss anybody off. Yeah, they had the hit. The last one was a picture,
Yeah,
and then
it's like a day and night thing. Like one day you got a crowd of people on panel here, and the next day, what's going on? It's like
it happens. You roll with the flow.
It's like a switch has been flipped almost.
That's okay. I mean, like I said, Mello will be up here shortly. Richard might still be sick for all I know. Wyoming Dave said chances are no because family's in from town. I don't know if Jeff's working right now, but I mean, I hate to say this. I have to pick my spots when I'm doing these things, okay? Because I'm not ever going to be able to be totally consistent till I'm semi-retired. That's another 5 years away, gang. That's kind of a long time. Maybe 3 if I get the Social Security survivor benefits. Maybe 3, but still 3 years. I mean, the whole world might be in 3 years anyway. So, who gives a shit? That's the way I figure. See, pissing everyone else is half the fun, Paul. Embrace your dark side. And we have brownies here. That's a difference. Saw Robson. See now Alice, I've seen earlier this year tour footage. He's still got it. I wish I could tell you I met Alice. I never met Alice. I have Alice's autograph. I do on a Dirty Diamond CD. And I have the rest of the touring band, which at that time included Eric Singer in between Kiss and Cooper gigs. And let's see, who the hell else was in that band? Noah Ronthi or Nita Strauss at that time. Nita, I can't wait. I'll get to finally see Nita. She'll be in that lineup. I've got a signed Nita thanks to my friend Scott from up in Illinois. He saw her. Fantastic. Michael, life's a beach.
While there's not much going on over there on the stream, I guess we'll go ahead and tease it. What's going on over in my world?
Yes.
I'm going to be this fall starting construction on renovating my garage into a kind of a streaming room / where I play all my music. I'm just realizing the living room is not, this is a very small living room. It's a very small space, and it works great for me when it's just me here. But,
right.
I kind of need my own space. And so I'm going to be working on that. And then on the side of that, I'm going to be working on purchasing higher quality equipment to boost the quality of my live streaming.
Good. No, that's good.
External mic, external camera, headset, whole 9 yards. Gotta still get that premium StreamYard going again.
Yes. I'm still looking into all the other options, but I'm now told that thanks to what I was told backstage in the last show, that I may have some time before I have to decide, and I'm good with that. So at least I would say probably till November, I'll be on StreamYard's platform. We shall see about it after that. But
well, I hope the next platform you go to has the pulling people up on screen ability.
Yeah, I hope so. That's going to be important. I need to know these things because I remember when I had to do solo at Right You Are Astro Pizza. There's I'm sure a lot of hurt.
Solo streams are great, but they get it doesn't really feel the same as actually interacting with people.
Right, absolutely right. You're very right.
You're talking to people that are typing in the chat.
Let's see. We do have I see a Valley Girl in the back. I see a Valley Girl. Gag me with a spoon. Quick commercial, ladies and gentlemen. Quick commercial. Last night, in case you didn't have a chance to see, I did drop the new Jukebox from Hell, which is known as episode 41. Yes, it's Jukebox from Hell season. It's not just for pumpkin spice latte anymore. And I hate pumpkin spice latte. We have a mechanic, in town that likes to go off and go in the fall. He'll change the sign to, it's pumpkin spice brake pad season. Wouldn't that be hilarious for the people that would go in and believe, I went so the idiots. Anyways, of course, we touched on Overnight Angels from 1977, Ian Hunter's solo album. If you haven't had a chance to see that, check it out. Once again, pleasantly surprised. I really, really was. And if you're a big fan of David Bowie's work, you may actually really want to tune on to that episode as well. So good. I mean, you're gonna have that room going. See, I thought I'd just do that for the hell. Let me see the T-shirt there, bud. There you go.
Ironically, who's the only member that's not pictured in this?
Try to look really close here. Would that be? Oh boy, hold on a minute. I see Dennis. I see Idiot Mike Love. I see Al. I see. I'm a little confused myself. Who the hell is it? Who's missing?
Brian Wilson is the
I
only,
thought so. I wasn't sure.
Brian Wilson is the only Beach Boy that is not included here.
That's pretty pathetic. I'm on a beach right now, Astro. Or hold on a minute. A little to the left, girls. I wish. I need. Where's my women? Where's me women in my? I mean, Mason. I like you, sir, but where's me women too? I need to see some nice cuties there.
What's her name from the last stream I was on? Not Beetle Babe, but the other female we had up here. She was pretty good.
Shenanigan. I notified her too. I did actually. I should have asked Shenanigan something too before I got on here. Something about I thought was quite interesting about a former DJ that has passed away that had a country music radio show, which I'm like, I was going to go off and say, and I forgot. It's like, do we know where the records are?
And also, I want to thank you for going live in the first place this evening, because now I have something else to do besides join a lot of other people for a very political night.
Oh, that's right. Tonight's the night, isn't it? Not to quote Rod Stewart. Tonight's the night for all that nonsense, isn't it? And before you people start yelling at me, I'm an independent. I don't take either side, so I could say that.
I'm what you would call. I judge them for not their party, but how I feel about them as a person.
Right. Character does help. Character is a.
We don't need to get into politics this
right.
Time. We don't.
Right. I don't. No politics, no religion, but character in anything in life is very important. I do remember barely, although my grandparents could tell me different stories, that when a handshake deal meant something. And when I was a kid, I still remembered that. By the time I got to be a teenager, it started to change. I kind of miss the days of, I think I'm an old soul, Mason. I really do think I'm an old soul. And I don't know. If I would have had the medical technology of today and been able to go back about 90 to 100 years, hell, I'd love to go back to the 60s and live for a while. I'd be all right with that.
If time travel was a thing that existed, one of the things I would love to do is go back to early 1964 and witness the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show for the first time.
I like that. Not to one up on that, because I'm not trying to, but I think I've said in the past that if we're going to play, let's just say, like you said, if time travel, I would go. The Beatles, Ed Sullivan, to even be in that audience would have been crazy. But for me, as goofy as I kind of am, the two touch points maybe that I would have loved to have been to would have been, I would have loved to have gone to Hamburg in like 61, early 62. Yeah, at the Star Club. Just sitting there, having a couple beers, just trying not to be conspicuous, and listen as the Beatles were on fucking stage doing their all-nighters. I would have just been like, wow, okay. And maybe just going off on a scrap of paper and go, can I have your guys' autograph? I think you're awesome.
Shea Stadium is a close second, because that one I hear was pretty fun.
Shea, you know what? I damn it, I wish I could find. I have it. A buddy of mine had a bootleg DVD of the whole Shea Stadium. It was on ABC with the Ed Sullivan intro. I have that somewhere. I'm kind of pissed off that I can't find it right now, but I have it. So
Just the Beatles at Shea Stadium, 1965, for example, performing 8 days a week. Just come on, classic.
Yeah, not to be confused with the Ruddles at Shea Stadium, which that was a different concert special for another day. Hey Johnny, how you doing?
What
Yes.
gang? What gang? It's me and Paul
Well,
and whoever. Well, I guess the people that are in our lovely comment section.
the gangs have to start somewhere, you know. Where are we going, boys? To the toppermost, to the poppermost. You betcha, you fuckers. KGLW at Red Rocks, baby. I would have loved, you know what, if I lived it out in that area, I would have loved to have gone to Red Rocks. I have heard some very nice things about that area, especially like if it was Grateful Dead, Moody Blues, that kind of stuff. I would have loved to, that kind of band, I would have loved to catch at Red Rocks. Yes, Beatles did 2 tours at 65, 66. That's the other thing too, damn it. I have it was bonus footage. It was bonus footage that my buddy gave me from the Ed Sullivan thing. He threw in some Budokan footage from 66, which I'm like, I thought that was really neat too. I was like, that was the first time I ever saw, you know, as close to a whole performance as I was going to see a Budokan, you know. And then the second thing would have been, well, let's see, since I already would have seen Pete, I would have wanted to go to 62 just as Ringo joined. Before Love Me Do even came out. And it's like, sure, it was already getting crammed in that cavern, but I'm like, I would have gone in there. I would have been like, all right, I just want to see this, because in a year it is not going to be the same thing, and it's going to be nuts. You know, and when I was growing up, truthfully, and I don't know if you ever saw a band that ended up even being mild or medium sized, you know, for our audiences. You know, I saw, you know, a lot of different bands in my area, and some of them did have medium sized crowds, and they did end up cutting records on big labels, but they got stifled, unfortunately. And 9 times out of 10, over at least in 80s Chicago, it was politics. It's always record label politics, but it's like they'll only go so far. I would go back to the 50s with all the great music and visit it. I don't know. You got me on Porky Chedwick. I have no clue who that is, although he does sound like an interesting obese porn star. That would have been funny in itself. Here's our latest feature. It's got Porky Chedwick along with Kay Parker and Linda Lovelace. But Wolfman Jack, I would love to have met Wolfman Jack. Now, my buddy Doug here in town, host of the Vinyl Grotto, he had a brief interaction with Wolfman Jack. Yes, he did. He'd probably be better at explaining it. It's a very short story. Jedwag said, I'm with Joan Jett. Was it her first band?
When it comes to Wolfman Jack, I just remember watching the an upload on YouTube of the live concert which he participated in. He participated in the Beach Boys Spirit of America Spectacular concert in 1981. He was like he kind of hosted the whole thing.
All right, Mason. You could go back in time for a Beach Boys moment. What would it be?
Well, off the top of my head, I would have liked to see them on their 50th anniversary reunion tour in 2012. Because even though Dennis and Carl had already passed away, I mean, it was still it's more of the Beach Boys than what they are today as a live act. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
Today's act should be called the Mike Love Beach Boys, because it's Mike Love, Bruce Johnston, and a bunch of guys we don't know.
Yep. Hell, not even John Cowsell's with them anymore. And once in a blue moon, and I say once, you'll get Pretty Boy, John Stamos, and
But
him and
another
him and
one,
his Greek
I
yogurt.
guess another one would be, you know, I'd like to go back to 1980. The last really major concert they did with the full original lineup before Dennis Wilson had passed away.
Mm.
The Nebworth show. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, actually, yes. I have heard little bits of it. Is the whole thing up?
It is available to. I mean, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but
I'll look into
I've
it.
streamed it on like Prime Video before.
Okay, I'll look into that though, because Nebworth is a really good place for any band. I mean, let's face it. Hell, I like the Skinner show from 75 or 76. They were at Nebworth. That was a hell of a show.
And I guess another good place to start would probably be I always wanted to time travel back to 1966, early 67, and actually be a fly on the wall to what Brian Wilson was doing with Smile.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, has there ever been a documentary with movie and all of interviewing all pretty much as many surviving Wrecking Crew members along with Beach Boys that were involved of that particular time frame?
Well, there is a Wrecking Crew documentary, though I haven't seen it yet.
It's a good one, actually. I highly suggest it, sir.
But I guess a close second would be the Brian Wilson songwriter documentary from, well, both parts actually. Part one more so because you get more Carol Kay and Hal Blaine interviews in that one. But that documentary basically just covers like the Beach Boys as a whole, even though it's mainly about Brian Wilson, but it covers all the albums up to at least LA Light album.
Nice.
And you know, there's a lot of interviews with the Wrecking Crew, particularly Carol Kay and Hal Blaine.
That is my signed Carol Kay right there to me. I wish I could tell you I met her. I didn't. I won it in a contest from my buddy's radio show. 4 people got personally signed. I heard the interview on the radio. I don't know, but she sure seems pretty crabby. I don't know. That could be a wrong assessment for me, but she sure, at least as of the last couple of years, seems to be pretty crabby. Beach Boys have a Smile album. They keep coming up with versions of those sessions. Yeah, there's probably so much. It's like they should just shut the hell up and put.
Well, here's the thing about that. Even before the sessions was officially released in 2011, and this is even before the Brian Wilson Presents Smile came out, where he finished it in his own way. Since the early 80s, there were bootlegs coming out.
I love bootlegs. Bootlegs are such fun. Whether even back in those days, whether they were good or shitty. I mean, you're just sitting there. What was the first bootleg you ever got back when you bought records?
Oh, I never owned a bootleg.
You never owned a bootleg. What about not even CDs?
No.
Okay.
I mean, okay, technically yes. Actually, I'll get to that. In 1991, there were plans for Brian Wilson to release an album called Sweet Insanity.
And heard about that.
That was, I consider it a bootleg because it's an unofficial release. But if you go onto like the Dirk Web, there are places where you can actually download it. And
nice.
What I did was I did do that.
Yes.
And then I burned it to a CD of my own.
Sure.
So it's kind of a bootleg and kind of not. It's a little complicated, but it's still an unofficial release. Like
Hmm.
this was not an album that was officially released. I don't know why, because the content on it is some of his best written solo work to date.
I wrote it down. I'm gonna have to look into that. That almost sounds like to me. Okay, and I know I'm jumping
But
backwards.
apparently,
Mm.
like there is a cassette unofficial release that you can
Ooh.
purchase, and that's where it's sourced from.
Okay. If you're a big Fogerty fan, Hoodoo. The story behind Hoodoo, I'm telling you, I'm like, you get 145, one official Electra Asylum 45. You got the magic. And then the damn album gets pulled. Even the label on that says from the upcoming album, Hoodoo. And at the last minute, it was John that said nope and pulled the plug. And they had proof album cover, front and back. There's a set listing. I'm just sitting here and I'm going, and I've heard it. It's on YouTube, guys. You can hear the whole Hoodoo album. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Now, if you're a big Paul Revere and the Raiders fan,
I like
uh,
Kicks.
yeah, yeah, I like to get a lot of kicks too. But yeah, see, there you go. And the thing is, okay, is that in '72 they cut an album called Country Wine, which that was the last LP for Columbia Records. They started at Columbia in '64, but all the way back into '60, right, is when they started with 45s. Well, in late 1972, there was another album scheduled to be released right around holiday time. So I'm told. Ronnie Dark, my buddy, the one that he has the wax museum with Ronnie Dark. That's how I won that was the contest I won the Carol K photo from. He's a huge, you know how you are with Beach Boys and how I am with the Monkees? This Raiders is his thing. He is like he's a rabid Raiders fan, and he found that on eBay there was a legitimate, complete acetate from Columbia Records of that album that was going to come out. Funny part about it, 1973, they put out 245s because Columbia just went up and said, fuck this. They said, we ain't putting any more albums out from these guys. Big mistake, in my opinion. And Love Music, great song. Song Seller, that one was in the vein of Powder Blue Mercedes Queen. Why those two should have been at least minor hits. They were stifled. And Love Music only made it to 93 in Canada. And I am sitting here going, you that talk about a record label dropping the ball on something that ended up being an unreleased project. Well, that demo, that acetate, there's still currently 3 unreleased songs that have never seen the light of day that is on that acetate. They wanted $1,500 is what the opening bid for eBay was currently, at least as of a couple days ago. And I was just like, shit, you know? Yes, and another place, yeah, Let It Be documentary. That would have been an excellent choice too, to actually be a fly on the wall for that. Rainbow Eyes is great. Ollie says, is that one of the songs off Sweet Insanity?
Yeah, one of the best songs off the album. It was
Nice.
later, it as well as a few others were later redone for the Getting In Over My Head album in 2004, serving the purpose of the fact that Sweet Insanity did not come out, and these were really good songs. But the re-recordings, they just don't hit the same. As much as the ones as the original recordings from the early '90s. But Rainbow Eyes may well be. It's up there with some of the best songs off that album, Sweet Insanity. Up there with Don't Let Her Know She's an Angel, or even a personal favorite of mine, Thank You, because he talks about his abuse from his father.
Murray Wilson, the asshole. Yeah, Yeah, I think we all can agree, all of us, whether you're a Beach Boy fan or not. There's a book on Murray, if I remember correctly. I've read parts of it. What an asshole. Not only was he an asshole to beat his kids, but to sell the damn publishing, Sea of Tunes,
But
that man.
I feel there's two sides of me. There's everything that Paul mentioned, which yeah, screw him for any of that.
Mhm.
But also he did have some good advice at times. It was his advice for Brian when they knew they were going to be leaving Capitol Records for Warner Reprise. It was his advice to come up with one more 45 to seal the deal.
Mhm.
That 45 ended up being the song Breakaway.
Mm. See, I didn't know that, but I like that song too. So it's like,
It was actually co-written with him.
huh.
So there was some stuff that he did that actually, turned out to be grand slams. But
Right.
yeah,
And
the mental and physical abuse thing I cannot get behind.
Right.
Selling the publishing rights I cannot get behind.
That was so bullshit. I just.
But
I'm-
even in this Disney Plus documentary, I feel like they should have just touched upon it, right?
Yes.
Like most documentaries do. But they took up a great chunk of the freaking documentary talking about it, and I feel like we could have used that time to, I don't know, talk more about stuff like their post Endless Summer albums.
Yeah.
Even though they're not, most of them aren't really worth talking about that much.
Right.
But at least a mention of 15 big ones. My goodness.
Mason, I'm going to tell you something. To tell you the honest truth, Beach Boys have always been in my radar, but before I met you, they were kind of in the back of my head. They're a little bit more towards the front of the head. I didn't sound right, but I know where I'm going on
Yeah,
this.
because my influence has.
Well, yeah, believe it or not, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not kissing ass here because it sure seems to be true anyway, at least in my universe, that Mason is like the number one Beach Boys fan that I know anyway, and the minutia that this guy knows is incredible and very, I mean, yeah, let's just face it. But I mean, yeah, I've gone and listened to some of those 70s records. I do think Sunflower is cool. I love Surf's Up. Holland, I'm starting to get appreciation for.
Prior to discovering me, had you heard any of the material?
Just some of the 60s stuff and okay, like the last time that they were even in my universe was, I think it was HBO went off and they used to play live at the Washington Monument, and it was the one before they got yanked because that stupid James Watt, whatever his one, decided to cancel the concert. It was the year before that.
In 1980, they decided to play at Washington Monument for Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
That went over well enough that they decided to do it again the next year. And that was that, as a matter of fact, the day after July 5th was the Spirit of America Spectacular concert that was hosted by Wolfman Jack. And I don't know, after that, James Watts was like, yeah, no, they're not really, I don't think they're really promoting anything good here. And then Ronald Reagan was later like, no, I want them. Put them back on.
Mm-hmm.
So they got nixed for 82 and 83 and came back for one more in 84.
So I must have seen him in 81 then, is my guess. So that was maybe the last time that I saw a full show from them on television, okay? I remember that Friday.
I'll make it known that that Carl did not appear at the 1981 show because he had quit the band to do a solo career at that point.
Well, I would not.
My question is, so
yes,
with well, not really a question. My point is, with most of these people that know of the Beach Boys music, they know about the surfing stuff and the
Mhm.
cars and all that stuff. Maybe even Pet Sounds and Good
Mhm.
Vibrations and Kokomo, but really nothing beyond any of that.
Right. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gone off and dug
But
in
they
more.
they hit a damn rich period, 67. I'll even say 67 to 73. They hit a damn rich period because you got Smiley Smile, which has the theme of lo-fi psychedelia, which is an interesting turn.
Yeah.
You got Wild Honey, which is an R&B album.
On my want list for a monocopy, I have a stereo.
You got Friends, which the closest thing I can compare that to is, blissful bubblegum pop.
Which I don't mind that either. I'm a good sucker
You
for
got
bubblegum.
Surf's Up, which that theme is pretty much depression.
Mm.
You got Carl and the Passion So Tough. That theme is pretty much, um,
Columns ruminate domino.
well, I would say that theme is pretty much country rock. That's the one thing I can say about that album.
See, and once again, though, that kind of brings up another point that I didn't expect to actually think about until you're saying all of this. It seemed like for a very short time frame, they had an identity crisis. They weren't entirely sure. It's like who was the one that was telling them no, go this way, no, go that way. They were trying to. Okay, they were chasing the relevancy of the time.
They were
They,
just trying to. They just wanted to try different concepts at that point, and I think it really worked because Brian wasn't in charge anymore. He was just he was like, while he wasn't confined to his bedroom, at least in the early point of this era, it was the point where, okay, I've done my thing. I gave you Pet Sounds. I tried to give you Smile. Now I'm going to step back and I'm going to and I'm going to see what you guys can do.
yeah.
And they're especially with Sunflower, they're proving themselves to be very strong in compositions, with each member contributing with the songwriting. And that's an album that really works.
I'm going to leave two more Beach Boys points, and then I'm going to say hello to our person below us here, Mr. Johnny L. One, this is while we're talking. This is coming into my noggin. I remember seeing the 1976 television special that Lorne Michaels produced, where Belushi and Aykroyd wake Brian Wilson up and they got you gotta surf. And I'm just like, what the hell? And they're so deadpan with
Right,
the fucking
because that
delivery, and I'm like,
was about the time that he was coming out, because roughly between 73 and 75, he was basically staying in bed all day.
he looked bad.
And
When I saw
that
him, I'm like,
when
what the hell?
that special aired, that was about the time that, yeah, it was. That was around the same time that they had brought Landy in to kind of dig him up from the grave.
Yeah. Because before that, knowing that knowledge, because I didn't know that, obviously I was like 9, but I said to myself, even after I watched that, I'm like, my dad and I were watching this, and I'm like, and he's going, I don't know, but he looks like he's almost dead. That's what he said to me back then. And I'm like, I thought I figured a year or two tops. He was going to be one. Then, like by 1978, the year of Keith Moon and everybody else, I thought Brian Wilson was going to be dead by then. I really, really did back then. But of course, everybody got proven
the
wrong
thing
on
about
that, didn't
that
they?
was that, people were thinking, people were thinking by 75 is like, yeah, this guy's done.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, it's the common story. Dr. Landy comes in, he does exactly what he promises. He gets Brian Wilson healthy again, and he gets him enthusiastic about working in the studio again,
Yeah.
making music. Love You comes out in April 77. People don't get it because of its strange quirkiness. and it's kind of it's essentially a 70s Pet Sounds, where it could have easily been a Wilson solo album, but for whatever reason the guys are on it anyways. That comes out, he gets to working on Adult Child, which is a repeat of Smile, an album that he was working on that,
Mm,
due to surrounding negatives, didn't get released. So, but during that time frame, he's slimming down. His voice is sounding less smokery, and he's starting to write more songs. He's starting to evolve in his songwriting because he's starting to write more music about things that actually matter.
yeah.
He's becoming good again.
It doesn't
And
help when you have
then
a jackass named Mike Love who
and then
goes off
Adult
and is
Child
abusing
doesn't
you.
happen, and he just nosedives again.
Yeah. Um, I'm going to tell you what. I know I keep saying it. I'm getting there. I'm not ignoring you down below. So
No,
the
I know.
thing is, is that I think one of the first times that I remember hearing about Mike Love verbal and physical abuse. Okay, and this goes back
Really, it
to,
has to be the don't fuck with the formula thing.
well, yes, but it also happens to be about how Brian discovers and wants to sign this trio to Brother Records named Redwood.
Yes,
And he's
they
working with them. And Mike Love, and I think it was maybe everybody in the band, but at least Mike Love, and maybe it was Carl Wilson or Al Jardine was with them
he
on
was
this day.
Mike Love was very much taking a page out of the Murray Wilson book, because if you remember, Murray was like not happy with Surf City,
Yeah.
and um, he was very much like, because it was the song "Darlin'" from Wild Honey,
Mm,
and Brian wrote that song about Danny Hutton because that's what Danny would always call him, and he wrote that for him. And then Mike Love hears this song. He's like, "That's a hit. So why aren't you recording it for us?"
yeah, that was the bone of contention. But the thing is that, and I read that. What the? Oh, it was, oh God, it was Chuck Negron's book. That's where I read that, and I'm going, what the hell? I mean, I was just like, and that book came out what, about 30 years ago, and that's when I'm starting going. And then, of course, I didn't know about the 1988 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame speech where Mike shoots
Yeah,
his mouth off, and I'm going,
well, more than anything else with that one, he
"Mm,
not only embarrassed himself,
yeah, that was
but the rest of
bullshit."
the band.
I hate to admit it. Yes, I have Mike's autograph somewhere too, but
Because
I got Brian's as well to
if you watch
counterbalance.
that induction video, you can easily tell that all the other members, whatever they had to say, even Brian was, they were pretty nice messages. And
Yeah.
then you get Mike on there being like, "Oh, Mick Jagger's too chicken shit to show up," or something like that.
Mm, I
So
really, and Jagger was there. He should have just backstage clocked his ass. That would have been the end of the whole. He should have gave him, in the wrestling, as they would call, a receipt, and he should have just got his ass, and that would have been the end of that. Yes, Mike loved the mouth back roars. A little MGM production. Hi, Johnny.
yeah, I was just listening. I'm not well versed in the Beach Boys as Mason is, but I know that one of my favorite tunes is "Good Vibration." I think that's one of my favorites.
I think
Um,
that's my favorite too.
and the Beach Boys touched on a few 50s tunes like "So Young" by Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, and a
Mm.
few other ones. And I saw the Beach Boys twice, maybe way, way, way back at the CNE in Toronto. They put on really great shows, and
Oh wow.
but I heard the stories about Mike Love. Yeah, he was a real schmuck, and
Because he is.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but the Beach Boys, and also I obviously Paul, and I'm sure Mason knows that Glenn Campbell was in the Beach
Yes,
Boys for a
yeah,
short
that's
time.
an interesting point to talk about, because when I think even before maybe he started getting with his career, he was 1964, a flight to Houston, Brian Wilson suffers a mental breakdown. He decides, okay, I'm done touring. They get Glenn Campbell for like 6 months to fill in.
Right.
Somewhere around that time, Brian produces a track that he gives to Glenn Campbell. It's called Guess I'm Dumb.
Still looking for that. And the X or Candic surfing.
you
Either
know-
one. I'm still looking for those.
They were pretty smart in getting Glenn Campbell because he's quite the artist to get a great guitar player. So, and but I think that was a good choice to get Glenn Campbell in there and fill in.
Of course, I guess he decides that it's not really for him because
But and you were talking about the Wrecking Crew. It's a 2008 documentary, The Wrecking Crew. If you haven't seen it, it's really interesting to watch. Get a chance to see it. It's a 2008 documentary, but very, very interesting. And, I mean, they were behind so many groups.
well, and you mentioned Good Vibrations, and a note to bring up with that is that was an early example. I don't know if any bands had done it before Good Vibrations. That may have been the first song to showcase the modular recording, where you basically cut it like film. You record a section here, a section there, a section there, and then you splice the film together. It was really
Very interesting. Very
it was
interesting.
very much a practice ahead of its time, especially when you listen to the song on its own and it sounds so simple.
Mm.
But actually, it was recorded between at least 3 or 4 different studios.
You know, and I like it when they play where they start singing, then they stop, and then got a good vibration, and when they start,
Yes.
they come back again, and I like the way they do that. You know, it's you're waiting in anticipation, right, and then they come up with.
I
you know,
mean,
God.
to be a fly on the wall for the Good Vibrations sessions would have been fascinating, I think, because just to knowing that the technology that we have today, if Good Vibrations was a song that was made today, it would not have been as impressive as then, because it's so easy to do the modular recording
right.
style these days with all the technology advances we have. But back then in the 60s, the fact that you record a section, record another section, record another section, sometimes on multiple different reels in different studios, and then splice it together.
Right.
It
A lot
had
of work.
it had to be mind blowing for anybody of that time when it first came out.
Yeah.
Excuse me 1 second.
But I just wonder whether that the engineers now would be able to do that.
They probably could just
I think-
press 2
I think they
buttons. and that's
rely,
it.
they rely too much on the technology on computers and stuff. So I wonder if they'd be able to do that when they did that back then. You know, like they put in a lot of work in putting that stuff together.
Hey,
The password
Hey.
is vegetables. I have to do that.
rock and roll, guys.
Yes. How you doing, Melon?
Yeah. Trying to just sleeping around the clock stuff is crazy. I'll tell you. I wake up a different time every day. You know what I mean? I'm sleeping around the clock. Just imagine moving an 8-hour block around the clock. You know, really.
We've been sleeping around the clock tonight.
Yeah, right.
It's
It's crazy.
You know,
Mike-
I almost, yeah. See, I almost, believe it or not, I came across a cheap theremin. I almost bought it just because.
I was
Damn
gonna
these
say-
good vibrations.
I was just
Damn
gonna
you.
say-
You know, just
Michael,
Just
if they put Yoko's voice on that, it would be a disaster.
that's what I was thinking. Imagine you during the ooh, just
It would definitely not be the hit that it's praised for these days.
I mean, she may
Oh
have
my
talent.
God.
In
Well,
other, she may have talent in other
Foxtrot
ways,
Unicorn
in other
Charlie
stuff.
Kilo on that shit. What the hell?
She may have talent in other probably other stuff, but definitely not singing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Today
No,
is Tuesday.
Yoko-
Actually, she could sing though. She really could sing. She just chose to do those weird
Why would
sounds.
if she could
and-
sing? Why would she do that?
Yeah, there's this really
because it was her expression. She was all about expression. You know what I mean? It was all
There's
about
this
like
song-
the inner self and, you know, the primal scream therapy they were doing.
Yeah,
It was all about, and plus they were high as hell, you know, so like, but then
It was,
somebody did take it because the B-52s utilized some of that sound in their, you know, in like Lobster Rock and, you know, a couple other songs where they're oohing and ahhing and like really weird sounds.
They
Well, I'd rather the
People
oohing,
say that there's this
I'd rather
song
the
called-
oohing and
yeah, no,
awing instead of
people,
like a cat sound, squeezing
Yeah.
cat sound.
people out there are saying that there's this song called "Walking on Thin Ice" that is actually really good. I have yet to hear it.
She has her moments. I mean, I've seen one thing where she's playing piano and actually singing beautifully. And, you know, like she had the ability, she's choosing to choose expression, artistic expression. Like, why would she sit on stage and let people cut her clothes off?
Well,
You know what I
ask-
mean? It's the same difference.
Ask Chuck Berry. Well, if he was still alive, what he thought of her singing. I think you've seen that one on YouTube. It was all over the place on YouTube when her and John Lennon and Chuck Berry were on stage, and just the look that Chuck Berry gave her was like priceless.
Oh, it's the greatest. You know, and I don't think that John didn't know. You know what I mean? John was a smart guy. You don't think he didn't listen to Yoko at first and be like, what the hell? You know, but you know what? He got to know her. She probably broke it down to him why she does it and stuff. And it made sense to him.
Oh, he probably said, "Yes, dear, you sound great, dear."
Well, no, I think it's more than that because when you're tripping on
No, I think
acid
it was more like
together,
this. I wonder if it was more like this. Well, I might as well be nice to and enjoy this because if I do, I'm definitely getting laid tonight.
wow,
Happy
you
life,
sounded
happy
like,
life, right?
dude, Mason, you sounded like David Donnelly right there.
I wasn't even trying to sound like John. I don't do a good impression.
No, you sounded like David.
Yeah, I hope they're all right. I went and dropped some messages.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I haven't seen them in a couple weeks now.
I know. Well,
We see David. Like David will make comments. I've seen his comments in the last couple days. I just haven't seen nothing from Jen at all.
I yipped with Jen about 7-10 days ago after one of my last episodes.
Right.
Oh, I just want to say to James, you're welcome. By the way. Well,
It's my brother King James.
He came on to my show when I was doing. I just finished a 3-hour show and Do Up Cafe, and he comes in pretty much all the time and requests songs.
Right.
And I accommodate.
Johnny, I only get to find out. It seems like you got your shows going as it's done. And I hate that. I kick myself for that because I'm
That's
like, damn it, another one I
Yeah, Daddy Bog comes in once in a while. Chauncey came in a few times and listened and stuff like that. So
I like all the before I forget. And by the way, subscribe to everybody on this panel. And John, what days do you do your show?
it's Tuesday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m.
All right.
Tuesdays on the Do Up Cafe.
Is that Central Standard or what?
Eastern. I don't know. It's like because it's mostly from the States. People from the States that are DJs.
What part?
Oh, I'm in Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
I'm Eastern Standard Time.
All right.
Hey, Paul, I'm gonna mute for a second here because
Okay.
I'm hungry and I need to go get some food.
What are we having today?
What,
Says the fat man.
Whatever I decide to get.
Yeah, I've done that.
I will be back shortly. I'm just gonna like go avatar mode for a while.
Okay. Well, just whenever you feel like it, come back on. Yoko craves attention. She couldn't bear to release John's album without. Yeah, no shit. You're right on that one, sir.
Well, that's true. I mean, everyone's a self-preservationalist in that sense.
Not to be
Everyone
confused
got-
with Kinks and the self-preservation.
Everyone got to get mine. I got to get mine. You know, that's the whole attitude.
Yeah. And speaking of that, it's time finally, an hour and a half into it, to explain today's title. Tell me, pretty baby, on the round trip to the Man of Miracles. I just saw I paused for 2 seconds. I said, my turn to have dumb internet. All right.
Maybe on the round. Well,
Tell me, pretty baby, on the round trip to the Man of Miracles. That is this. So this first part, see, I kind of threw a slight curve because it's a 45 is what we're starting with. See, I figure you people are smart. You're very smart. So I'm like, how do I get these guys once in a while so they can't finish it? It'd be like, you know what? It would be like if you remember that WKRP episode where they crammed all those 20 songs into, it was like a contest. It was like 1 second bits of everything. And the dude got it right. And I'm like, that's how I would feel if you figured out all the titles.
I forgot all about that episode. Wow. That was a great episode. That was a great episode. That's probably one of their better episodes.
True story, I'm told. That's why they like,
yeah.
I'm like,
well, you know what? People used to write from real life back then.
That's okay, James. Don't worry. Don't be sad because 2 out of 3 ain't bad. All right. So, yeah, I know. Wait a minute. Oh, well, no meatloaf must be next door. Okay. So, I know I'm so hungry. So this first part, all right.
You must be hungry.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'm a fat ass. My son treated me to Burger King.
You know, you're Paul. You're
oh,
acting.
Man,
like,
I haven't eaten Burger King in like 10 years.
Paul, you're acting like a bat out of hell right now. So
thank you. Later on, I'm hoping to get Paradise by the Dashboard Light, but we'll see.
Well, you do anything for love, but you won't do that.
She did take the words right out of my mouth. It must have been while she was kissing me. So we could go all day on this, guys, but I mean, I know it's all bad for good, but enough of that. So in 1978, this 45 caused a big stink, actually. It really did. There was a lot of people going, is it or isn't it? And
you mean it wasn't a Paradise by a Dashboard Light?
No, not this one. But in a way, was this a recording from the grave? A lot of people in 78 were trying to figure this out. And as soon as I show this, certain fans are going to go, oh, God, I know about this. So in 1978, this 45 comes out of a small label in Tennessee.
What?
And it says his first, let me go into his first professional recording. Elvis.
Yeah, I never seen this.
I'm going to tell you the story here. 1954 recording. Tell Me, Pretty Baby. Now you could tell that come on, with the graphics, right? And then you got letters, and I'm going to read this to you because they're way too small type. Okay. Well, I'm not literally going to read them because the type is too small, and I still don't know where my damn glasses are. But it does say this. All right, I'm going to show you the 45 too, which of course is in minty condition, and we'll explain why, obviously. But so it says Elvis Classic, 1954, both sides.
But it doesn't say Elvis Presley. It does. Okay.
And then, so Tell Me Pretty Baby's the A side and the B side. Go figure. I don't know why. They could have put something else with it, but whatever. So in 1978, when this came out, I'm going to admit, I remember seeing this. Oh, God. In some type of music magazine. There was a little ad for this thing. Oh, yeah. And it's from ICP Records. Out of Dallas, Texas. But it's
Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, exactly. It's a juggalo. It's a juggalo production. Oh boy.
ICP. That's all I think about. Insane Clown Posse.
By the way, I've been watching the juggalo wrestling. It's back.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, oh yeah.
Oh
wow. A man that I half knew and met a handful of times. Willie Mack is the heavyweight title holder. Anyways. So, but you get from the University of Texas at Dallas is this one letter from a musicology expert that listened to the tape and said, hey, I really think this is Elvis. That was February of 78. That letter was. Then you have a sound studio gentleman who he's in engineering, and he says, hey, this thing really does sound like Elvis. That one was also in late February, and then finally in July of 78. So this came out afterwards, I'm guessing, obviously. It says to whom it may concern, and then it explains the story of in 1954 in Phoenix, Arizona, this particular gentleman who happened to co-produce this, because the story goes that this was a tape recorded in 1954, and I can't even read this. Falco is the dude's last name, okay? And he said that he was in Phoenix, Arizona, Mr. Falco was, in a band called the Red Dots. And Elvis happened to be there doing a small show in 54 in Phoenix. And he supposedly gave Elvis $15. This is the story. $15 to record this song with the Red Dots, which Mr. Falco was a member of in 1954.
Wow.
Now, that's your story.
So, is this supposed to be? Let me ask something. This is pre-Colonel.
Yes. So this is the thing. Notice I said 54. Also, you Elvis fans out there are going to notice that I said Phoenix. So there you go with several red flags.
Yeah.
Right?
Did he never went to
never
Phoenix?
toured in Phoenix in 54. Okay. He didn't go out that far. Not at that time frame. I'm told that, yes, I think maybe the farthest he ever went out in 54, 55 was Colorado. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I could have sworn I read that somewhere.
Could he have been
Phoenix,
let me ask you something.
Yes.
Could it have possible, like, the furthest he'd gotten closest to Phoenix, like they just bust him back and forth from wherever he was? Like, say if he was in Kansas City or, like somewhere closer, going 100 miles might not have been as bad as going like 2,000 or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was just, you don't really know the deeper ends of the story and what the days, unless you had a real timeline.
According to Scotty Moore, and somebody else that was close to the Elvis camp, they drove, I can't remember in what car, with like one of, sometimes those short little U-Haul things. That's how they drove around from 54, 55 and into 56. So that much I can tell you that. So it would have been a very long journey. So this song, like I said, Tell Me Pretty Baby. And then I wrote, this is me writing, what a hoax. Boy, oh boy, despite different people from February, July 1978 stating it's him, RCA sued 4 different people in court proceedings. Vernon Presley and RCA are in the courtroom.
Oh, Vernon's is defending.
They get this label to admit it is not Elvis. It is Mike Conley Ellis, whoever that is, was electronically inserted into the recording, but it really could have been a 1954 Red Dots garage rock recording in Phoenix. But
Have you listened to it?
Yes, and you know what? It does sound Elvis-like. It really does.
Can it fool you?
If I was brand new into the game of Elvis fandom, yes, but not
really.
Now. Yeah, well, I mean,
okay. Elvis' voice is so distinct.
But you had some close competition back, after he was popular. You had Raul Donner. You had Terry Stafford. I mean, you had some people, even Jack Scott at times. All of those people could sound Elvis-like, okay? But
speaking of Raul Donald, he was the one that did the voice over This Is Elvis as the Elvis speaking voice.
Yes.
That's how he's known as the greatest Elvis impersonator, that guy. Honestly, he has the closest. Him and Jimmy, what the heck is his name? He was in Las Vegas for a long time. Jimmy something.
Jimmy Ellis. You mean Orion?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. I wish Orion was alive. I do happen to have an Orion autograph. I do. It's kind of funny. I can't believe, I've been looking seriously, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys know where there is a signed Orion album of any of that late 70s, early 80s Sun material, Well, I don't understand back then. They always stuck the shit on gold vinyl. Didn't matter who the artist was. I understand. Gold is the sun. Yes, yes, yes. But but it was always special collector's edition, legacy edition. They named every damn thing and then slap it on gold vinyl. But I have the
Well,
album in question.
everything's a gimmick nowadays. You know what I mean?
Even then it was a gimmick. But
Yeah, even then, that's what I meant.
yeah, and there was even some controversy back in 1978, same time period. I'm sorry, the album's in the other room, but I'll pull it out someday. That didn't sound right, but I know what I'm talking about. So in 1978, Jerry Lee Lewis, there was an album called Duets, and it was called Jerry Lewis and Friends, and it was on Sun. All right. Now, I don't know how they pulled that off because I thought he was an Elektra artist by that time, but maybe he was in between Mercury and Elektra. I don't know. But so they had all these other people, and on some of it, Jerry Lee Lewis did play to old recordings of other people. And on other ones, they say in question, Save the Last Dance for Me came off as Jerry Lee Lewis and ? And everybody was led to believe it was Elvis, when in reality, it was Orion. So later on, that album gets put out. And like I said, that duet album also came out in 78. Well, Orion, of course, who was known as Jimmy Ellis in the early 70s, Sun concocts the whole Orion thing. That's for another episode for another day. But I happen to have the only Orion autograph I've got because he signs that duet album that he appears on. So,
That's the guy with the Orion, if I can remember. Is that the guy with the mask? He was wearing a mask, and he was thought everybody thought it was Elvis.
Yes, great documentary was on Netflix too. I think it might even be on YouTube about Orion.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah,
a while back.
If you lived in Alabama, I want to say near Montgomery, Alabama, he owned a pawn shop. Him and his ex-wife, and he got killed in a robbery of his pawn shop, and that's right. The end to Orion. And I mean, he performed for like close to 20 years, and at least as Orion or Jimmy Ellis, either way you could pick it. But one of these days, I really would like to find a signed Orion album, and that would be nice because I like his voice. Damn it, I do. It came close. That was his curse. Well, that's not really exactly a bad curse. I mean, yes, if you want to preserve your own identity, I guess it's a curse. But it's not really insulting to sound like Elvis Presley. I mean, let's face it.
Yeah.
So that's.
I thought Terry. At first, when I heard Terry Stafford, I thought that was actually Elvis.
Suspicion.
I thought it was.
Because I can't remember. Did Elvis ended up doing Suspicion after Terry,
did,
right?
Yeah.
About me.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Suspicion.
I really thought it was Elvis when I heard that 45 back on the oldie stations. I'm like, oh shit, and then I'm like, oh, that's not.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's damn good. Now, Mello, you brought up Raul Donner. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. No, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I am Facebook friends with his son.
Really?
And I have been tempted to bring him up.
Oh, that would be cool.
He lives in my birth town, actually. And I was like, I didn't know that. He still goes and does gigs around Montgomery County.
It's funny. My brother has a record with Raul Donald doing Elvis. Believe it or not, it was like a limited edition pressing of Raul Donald singing Elvis Presley. Incredible album.
Picture disc? Because I had that picture disc.
No, it ain't a picture disc. It was like a really whitish kind of pastel sleeve with like a drawing of Elvis on it and stuff. It was pretty neat, though.
Yeah, I like Raul's.
Yep. He's incredible.
You guys check Raul's previous discography. My God, that man was on a lot of labels in the late 50s to late 60s. And like I said, when Elvis died, he kind of got a swing back up in popularity. And being the narrator of This Is Elvis certainly was not a bad thing. I liked that movie when that first came out, but I'm not going to lie, I didn't see it brand new. I saw it on HBO. HBO showed it and in its entirety, and I'm like, this is a nice movie. I said I liked it, and it had some unreleased nuggets. I said nuggets on that album itself. Okay. I see you got a guitar going here. Hang on a second. Next. Round Trip. Oh, you people are going to know that. This will be too easy for you guys, but I was glad to get the copy of this again. Future Jukebox from Hell episode. A damn good album. It is. If you're a Knack fan, I wish Jeff Allen was up here. He'd be like, you betcha. But October 1981, third album, Pay the Devil was the single off of here. Only got to number 67. Broke up in early 82. Like I said, this came out October 81. And then they wouldn't get back together till mid 86 for a tour. You have for guest appearances, you got Chicago's horn section. So all the horn people in Chicago, they were very horny at that time. Flo and Eddie, that good old Flo and Eddie. You'd think because Flo and Eddie was on this, that there would have been a hit, because it seemed like a lot of things Flo and Eddie sang background on ended up being in the top 40. Not in this case. Mark Hudson, of course, future Ringo producer and member of the Hudson Brothers. And lastly, Sneaky Pete Kleinow on pedal steel on several tracks. And so that is Round Trip. And he muted himself, it appears. I did not mute him. And then lastly, whoever said this, they were correct. Because I found this again, and I thought pretty cool. Styx's Man of Miracles. I love the artwork on this thing, and I know you can't tell really well, but right around here is where the artist initialed his work. Okay, now this pressing here. Oh, good. I do have the original. Very nice. So this is an OG press. How can you tell if this 1974 from October 74 is an OG press, you may ask? Well, you Styx collectors are already going to know right off the bat. I should show you. Here's the front and here's the back. All right. And, of course, this is your classic lineup Styx. No Tommy Shaw here. John Krulewski is on this for guitar. I'll show you, of course, as well, that Wooden Nickel Records, which was an RCA. Come on. Don't get stuck now on me. I hate inner sleeves sometimes. Okay. So it would look like that. Now, the first pressing would have the Knickerbocker song Lies, all right, which would be track 1, side 2 is Lies. So the good old Lies, which sounded like the Beatles back then. I thought it was a Beatles song on Oldies Radio before I found out about the power of the Knickerbockers. I said power. And but what happened with this, though, was that Lies gets replaced. Now, I don't know if there was a lawsuit. I don't recall finding out about a lawsuit. There might have been a lawsuit, because why would they change Lies and replace it on the second pressing with Best Thing, which was on their first album from 1972? And yes, they attempted a 45 release on that, just like they did with Lies. Lies was the better track. And to make things even more dumb, in 80, when Wooden Nickel already shut down, RCA, of course, owned all the Wooden Nickel material. 1980 was the year that they decided to reissue all of the material from Wooden Nickel under the RCA budget label brand. And what they did for the Lies and the Best Thing is they replaced it with the unreleased, unfinished song written by Dennis DeYoung. That today, ladies and gentlemen, is the explanation of your title, Tell Me Pretty Baby, on the round trip to the Man of Miracles.
Nice.
You were muted, sir. Was that intentional?
Yeah, I was just messing with some. I didn't want to practice singing while you were just explaining.
The Foxtrot Unicorn, Charlie Kilo. That's gonna be a running gag today. Nobody knows what the heck except me and Mello what we're talking about. That shit.
Yeah.
I do have, though, some bonus 45s. Now, when I found good old Tell Me Pretty Baby, yes, very, very much. I love those albums. I'll tell you that. Knack, that is for sure.
Right.
So I did show, of course, that I had the Elvis, of course, which we showed last show, which was in really good shape. But what I didn't show you, and these were all great. I'm not kidding, $3 a piece, and they were all sleeved. They're very good conditions. And of course, the Beatle fan in me, I had to "Got My Mind Set on You" with
Yeah, that's a good one.
it is back with "Lay His Head," which was it was a B-side that never made it onto Cloud Nine. In fact, of course, on the good old Dark Horse that everybody likes so much, "Lay His Head," "Zigzag." There was a couple other ones. When you bought that 1980 from Genesis Publishing, the "I Me Mine" book, it came with a EP, and the EP was the B-sides of the stuff from that were B-sides on the 45s, along with some of the songs from the handmade film with Madonna and Sean Penn, "Shanghai Surprise." So
I
you
remember
get
that.
that stuff too. But here's another one that I was like, wow. I mean, I knew he was in the Yellow Balloon, but to find one of the three sons. Good song, by the way. Really good song for garagey type stuff.
Wow.
On Canterbury, this is a promo, a white label promo from '67. Very, very nice stuff.
Wow.
And yeah, that was pretty much the rest of the find from that.
And you
from
got that
other
for
day.
$3.
$3.
Holy shit.
Sometimes
Not
I mean,
bad.
sometimes he's like, okay, if it's Northern Soul, he'll go ridiculous in his pricings, and sometimes justifiably so. But then he'll go and sit there and put 45s like this, or that's how I picked up some of my early solo Beatles. Like I picked up "Instant Karma," "Back Off Boogaloo," "Elephant Memory Liberation Special." There was some Yoko 45 I found, and they were each of them were under $10 each. And I'm going, with the sleeves and the condition of the vinyl were at least VG plus. And I'm going, what the hell? Either this
Yeah,
guy.
if that's your thing, man.
I need to get. He's got a 45. A "Handle Me with Care." Also, I need to get that 45.
Nice.
But I think I only had so much money. I think he wanted like $5 for the Wilbury one. But that's a band I really wish that would have stuck around a lot longer. I mean, even after Roy died, and yeah, I mean, I missed Roy, and Roy put his stamp on that album. But they, like I said, they were either talking about getting Dwayne Eddy or Del Shannon to replace. Well, you can't replace Roy, but to insert in that lineup. And I think they could have had one more good album out of them, honestly, before they would have shut the circus down. It's just too bad they didn't try.
Yeah,
I think Del Shannon would have been a good pick because he's got a high voice, right?
Yeah,
and he
I would have loved to have seen
it wouldn't have replaced Roy. Nobody can replace Roy Orbison,
right?
Del Shannon can hit those notes pretty high. So
now I'll admit, I've only ever come across the 45. I have never come across the last Del Shannon album, "Drop Down and Get Me," which Tom Petty produced because, well, he was such a huge Del Shannon. He was the one that actually brought up Del's name, I am told, as to, well, unfortunately, Roy's dead, but how about Del? And I mean, I want to say, because I'm not really good on my timelines, but didn't Del self-inflict himself? I hate using other words. Self-inflict himself like a few months after the Volume 3 Wilburys?
Del Shannon was upset about the Hall of Fame. That's what he put him over the edge, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was so upset because they wanted him to host the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he goes, "You want me to host the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I should be in the damn thing."
Yeah, well,
that's right.
Yeah, I don't the Rock and Roll.
And it was not much after that he did that.
Yeah. Well, what a farce.
Okay, excuse me one more time.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a farce.
Say one more time, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Michael Nolan will appear. I'm not making fun of you, Michael. It's like, but we have to have our VC Candyman. You mentioned Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I laugh if 2 minutes later he shows up.
I'll tell you what, speaking of the Wilburys, I would have loved if they would have pursued a little bit of that Elvis angle they originally started with. You know, the Aaron Wilbury. You know, they never even put it out like on a box set or even like explored it. It was just an idea. They even went to the Elvis Presley estate, asked them. They gave them songs to do, and they didn't do it. I'm like, why not? Anyway, you got all this time on your hands and stuff. Do this shit.
That and that Silver Wilbury, the one-off, would have been quite interesting if they even would have released it just for shits and giggles. That was George, John Fogerty, Taj Mahal, and I can't remember who else was on that night. That needs to come out.
And dude, why can't honestly Bob Dylan and Jeff Lynne are still alive? Why can't they get a couple new Wilbury cousins or something? You know, like there's no other Wilburys out there in the world. You know what I mean? Has anybody asked them that idea about approaching, about doing, an extended family cut or something?
I would say Fogerty should be in there.
They'd be interested in. I wonder if they'd be interested in doing that, though. I don't know.
That would be funny.
It would be their friends. If anybody, it would be their friends who they get along with. Would be the people that would do it. You can't just pick people out of thin air and saying, "Oh, this person." You don't even know how they would work together. The reason why Traveling Wilburys came together because they were all best friends. You know, literally. Even Tom Petty was part of that crew. Like, it was like he was the youngin' of the group, but he's gone now too.
Yeah. They're all
three of them
dying off, man.
And Taj is still alive. We could stick him on a cut or two, just for shits and giggles. How about we put Willie in there? We'll put Willie on a track. He's Willie
Nelson. Willie Nelson could be in that. He would be. He gets along with them.
Willie Wilbury.
Put Melody in it.
Mellow Wilbury.
I would love to hear that. Yeah, right. You got Billy Gibbons. Tell me Billy Gibbons wouldn't be cool as a Wilbury.
Oh, that would be fun.
You know, maybe nobody approached them. Maybe nobody's ever gave them that idea.
Runaway with Del Shannon is pretty good.
Yeah,
Runaway. I love that early stuff. I'll tell you, him and Maximilian, they were the two. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Speaking of Roy Orbison, he was the one that was the replacement to Elvis Presley in the $1 Million Quartet. When they did the couple shows in the Grand Ole Opry, and I think they recorded a couple things, and there's even a video of them where it's Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, and Roy Orbison, dressed almost in Elvis-like gear, like at the time with like the karate suit. Like Elvis was really influential on a lot of guys because Engelbert Humperdinck dressed in that sequin suit. Tom Jones did at times. Yeah. Roy did, and the sideburns came out. It was very Elvis-like.
Yeah, because what was it? They had the album Class of '55, and it was that lineup.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
I don't have that album. I have it. Hear that. Does it sound okay?
I have it. You know what? If I haven't, I have to dig it out. But if I find it, I'll give that one to you as the replacement to the Sail Cat.
Well, thank you.
Messed up on.
That's all.
I'll give that to you.
Beating yourself up, shit happens.
Yeah, but I appreciate getting stuff to people who appreciate it.
Very much. It's just like we like nudie suits, the suit and the birthday suit. There's certain people. Never mind. You guys can imagine who's never mind. Boy, insert foot and mouth on that one.
Well, I don't think I'd be putting one on. That's a
not you, not me either, or Mello or Mason. None of us. You guys figure out who we're talking about. We miss you anyway. I hope you're okay. You know who you're talking about, who I'm talking about, and who you are.
I think I know who you're talking about.
We all know who you're talking about. Anyways, what else was I gonna say?
I'll be like Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing.
Oh God, did I make some people laugh? That's funny you bring that up because my coworker, all right, it's like I said, no secret, I work in a Walmart, and so she comes back in and she's like, she sits down and she just, I don't know, she wasn't having such a good day, but I said, why are you all, what's with the long face? Nah. And she's like, because I've been in the cooler, and I went and I said, keep it up. 30 days in the cooler. She's laughing. She didn't even know where that came from, but I'm like laughing. But I just like, Schultz, Hogan.
Colonel Klink.
Yeah, and I had to explain that to her. She never saw the show. She never saw the show. And I'm like, because of that, 30 days in the cooler for you.
30 days in the cooler.
Oh, God. Bury it in the cooler.
That's right.
I figured Johnny would be over at Rachel's. What has she got? Is that why my audience dropped it by a third? It's because Rachel's
Well,
having
it's gonna, you know, no. There's the Trump things happening.
You know what?
Oh.
Once again, I'm an independent. Don't crucify me. Whatever. I don't care. I don't want the. Okay, you want to know something? The first time I had to watch a damn debate. Okay. But the first time I had to watch the debate was for a class project in 1970, 75, 76 Ford Carter. I had to watch it to do a report. That was the last debates I ever watched.
It's going to be replayed to death. Believe me, it's going to be the most. You ain't going to escape it.
Yeah, I go.
You're not going to miss nothing.
I'm on here to avoid watching
I
it.
go wherever I want.
Well, we like that you're here,
where I
Mason.
go or where I don't go.
Johnny.
Well, I'm just saying you're not going to be able to avoid seeing what happened. You know what I mean?
But
So
I do want to watch that debate, though. I want to see.
oh yeah, we're going to see it. We'll see it. I don't care about live.
No, I'm Canadian, so it doesn't matter to me.
See, exactly. Although we could talk about something about that for 2 seconds in a second, too.
We have enough problems here in Canada with the idiot we have in Prime Minister.
About the evidence.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Johnny.
Prime Minister is Fidel Castro's kid. But anyways, that's
probably is.
Here is the pictures. Look at the pictures. That's enough evidence.
They do. I know. Oh my God.
So here's the thing. None of them are going to win, ladies and gentlemen. I already can tell you that in around Halloween time, there's going to be new candidates that are going to be taking over, and nobody's going to have a choice. It's called Robo Kennedy and Robo Lincoln. Robo Kennedy will be president. Robo Lincoln will be vice president.
You mean AI? You mean AI Lincoln?
It is Terminator-like robots with DNA from John F. Kennedy and Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
That is your winners of the 2024 election. Yes. And and one last thing. And by the way, they can take tons of headshots. That didn't sound right, but I know, and I'm not talking about Olin Mills Glamour Studio. I can't believe I just stuck Olin Mills in a fucking prawn psycho platter.
There you go.
Are they even still around? I remember those Benoit photos from. Anyways. That's right. That's right, Astro. Frank said, give me your dirty love. You know
what, Paul?
Yes, sir.
I finished that 3-hour set there with my thing, and I haven't had supper yet. So I'm my stomach comes first.
Hey, Johnny, what are we having for supper?
Hey, God bless you, Johnny.
I think we were having salmon in the oven with what's that sauce? That creamy sauce that you put on top of it? It's like yellow. It's a creamy yellow sauce with like.
Boy, do I have something I could say about that.
I don't know. I don't eat seafood.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you.
No, it's not that kind of sauce.
I know that, but I was trying to come up with like.
No, I didn't think that.
I can't remember the name of
got
it now.
It's,
it goes good on salmon. So, but that's what I'm going to have.
I get bad reaction to seafood.
When I see food, I eat it. That's why I'm so fat.
Yeah, right.
You know what? Some good lemon pepper.
Well, you know what? When I was born, I was so ugly. The doctor smacked my mother.
Okay, Rodney. Anyways, enjoy your salmon.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go on a pleasure trip.
Hey, God bless
I'm gonna
you,
drive
Johnny.
my mother to the airport.
Don't eat the debater. You might get sick.
I'm going on a pleasure trip now. I'm going to drive my mother-in-law to the airport.
I'll tell you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Paul. See you. Take care.
Check out Johnny.
See you, Mello.
Yeah.
Hey, God bless you, Johnny.
Who's Johnny? They said.
I was just messing with a song that I played it before, but it popped in my head because the way I've been feeling, like, and the way like the whole world is just like makes me feel like I'm in dreamland sometimes. Sometimes you can feel like you're in the Twilight Zone, but like this one came to me. Make me leave me where I am. I'm only sleeping. Keeping alive all the world going by my window. Taking my time, lying there staring at the ceiling, waiting for a sleepy feeling, running everywhere at the speed till they find there's no need, there's no need. Please don't wake me, no, don't shake me, leave me where I am. I'm only sleeping.
Insert backwards guitar here.
Yeah, I love that song.
You had to do one from my favorite Beatles album, Bravo.
I appreciate that.
That also has to be my favorite Lennon song off that album.
Yeah,
it's one of mine too. You know, it gets you
off that album. I mean, Tomorrow Never Knows is good, but
yeah.
And another good one for some reason that sticks in my head from time to time is Dr. Roberts. I don't know why, but I love that. It's like,
I do too.
You're feeling fine. You know,
I love Rain. Rain is good too. You know, I mean,
but that's not Paperback Writer. Okay. You can make the album longer than 14 songs just to put Paperback Writer and Rain on there, please.
I know, right? By now.
Paperback Writer. Yeah, that is like the perfect Beatles song. I'm sorry. It's like from start to finish.
If that's the perfect Beatles song, then the perfect Paul song on a Beatles album is probably For No One.
That's one I haven't heard in quite a while.
You know what? My favorite Beatles song of all time, even though John is my favorite Beatles song is a Paul song, and I think it is a pop perfection to the highest magnitude. Like it's sophisticated. And it's just the most intense feeling song, especially in the middle of the song. They do this that literally just hits you like a beam of light just coming right into you. You never give me your money. When you hear that middle of
that's bittersweet.
It is like, I mean, I get shivers down my spine. Putting them on headphones and hearing them doing them ahs like never before. Those ahs penetrate like unbelievable.
You only give me your funny paper joint roller.
Yeah, I like that. Wow, I'm going to sing that someday. Dear Sarah, madam, will you roll my joint? I really need to smoke. I want to roll a joint.
I need a zigzag here.
Unfortunately, that wasn't the song recorded during that period.
It's based on the fact that God announced that I want to smoke it up.
No, Paperback Writer actually wasn't the song recorded during the Revolver sessions. That actually is about doing drugs. That actually is Got to Get You Into My Life.
Yes. You know, who did I explain that to the other day? John. No, it was John or Donna. And that came out on, I was listening to, well, we sort of have a half oldies station, not much. And it came on and I'm like, Paul's love song about pot. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yes. I go, that's exactly why this was written.
I'll tell you what, man, they were worried that like they didn't want, their songs being used in commercials. And Paul's like, what next? They're going to want to have Got to Get You Into My Life in a tampon commercial.
Oh my. Yeah, here's a good challenge that would have been neat. So you go a segue right from Got to Get You Into My Life into Sweet Leaf. since the common theme would have been there.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no. I've heard a lot of people say that Got to Get You Into My Life, they used to think it was a great song, and then when they found out what it was actually about, it ruined it for them.
I just said I thought it was more hilarious for me. That's all.
It's like Bob Dylan thinking, and thinking they said, "I get high," when he's really saying, "I can't hide."
Right.
But when you listen to it, I tried to decipher. It really does sound like at times he's saying, "I get high."
Yes, it does actually. And you know what? Happy accident, though, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because if Dylan didn't come to visit him.
Yeah, they
Because
wouldn't
he
have had the
thought they were.
reefer exchange.
Yep. You wouldn't have.
That
You
would have
would have
came
had.
anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, weed would have
Well,
been
maybe they
penetrated
would have been like.
somewhere.
You said penetrate, but you know, I mean, okay. So let's face it. I've brought this up before. You got your early Beatles, so that would be 62 to early 65. Then you start going from about Rubber Soul to Magical Mystery Tour is your second phase, to White Album, and finish off with Abbey Road as your third. I've always thought
Right.
about it as like a 3-phase thing.
And you know,
Right.
you know what, guys? You know what? Guilty as charged. I actually do this when I decide, because I can do it in probably 2 or 3 days, play through all of their albums
Mm-hmm.
in probably 2 or 3 days. I actually play Abbey Road last, the way it was intended, because by recording, at least. So, you know, it goes.
I've
pretty
had some Beatle
steady.
marathons.
It
You
goes
know,
pretty steady up.
They're fun.
Sorry,
Honest,
sorry about that. It goes pretty steady up until about Magical Mystery Tour,
Mm.
and then technically Yellow Submarine was recorded before the White Album.
Right.
So it
depends which way you're
Magical
looking
Mystery
at it.
Tour,
If you're going
Yellow
with,
Sub, White Album.
you could go by official release date, you know, which the world discovers it that way.
I
Or
go
you
by
could go linear order, which is the way they recorded it.
Yeah, I go by when they were recording it.
Yeah.
Right.
And Hey Bulldog and Only a Northern Song are probably my favorite off the 4 tracks of that Yellow Submarine.
But anyway, you know,
You'd have to get an actual, I have a book called Beatles Songs where it has the timeline of every date when they recorded each song. So they have it in order of the song, you know, order that way. For me, I think it's fun once in a while. I have a book of all the Beatles songs in alphabetical order. Do an alphabetized Beatle marathon. That's pretty fun.
That would
It
be
really
fun.
is.
Yeah.
And then you do it backwards. Go Z to A.
Oh God! So let's think about this. I don't think they ever did a song with a Z, but it would probably end with, unless I'm
Your
wrong, would it
Majesty.
be? Oh, that's yeah.
Your
And
Majesty.
that's funny considering that Your Majesty was the last thing and the last. So yeah, so the beginning would be. Let's see.
The first one I think is Across the Universe.
Yes. So to go probably from unless somebody else.
No. I mean, unless they go a Hard Day's Night and they consider the A as an official word.
Yeah, I don't consider the A. But so yeah, Across the Universe to about Your Majesty. That would be your way across.
Yeah, and you run the spectrum because every album, you know, like you're going alphabetical order, so you're skipping album to album like you're going to hear it on the radio. Did it one time. It was called Beatles A to Z, and they did it all in alphabetical order, and it was amazing.
I wonder if they stuck the leftover anthology tracks, and I'm not talking about the three.
I think they did.
I'm talking about the unreleased stuff from those things.
No. It was radios can't do that as much. You know what I mean? Like they were probably sticking to all the official albums.
See,
which would include the anthology.
Yeah, I would have gone like with throwing things in like what's the new Mary Jane? But
you can't have there's a place like Take 2, 4, 7, 9. You can't have like all those takes of the same thing either. You know, especially on a radio format. They're just there to play the songs. But
yeah, that's what I would have done. No, that's what I'm saying. I would have taken what was like the most official thing that then they're like. Nah, we decide we're not going to put that out, and then it's like, but
what am I saying? James says it's right. It's not Your Majesty, it's Her Majesty.
So that would make it okay. So hold on a minute, then
wait a minute, I got a book. Hold on.
Yeah, because so Yellow Submarine's YE. Okay, so there had to have been. Help me out, ladies and gentlemen. There had to have been something with a YO. Or let's see. I don't know. I just know that that Ruddles album, the other album that was the Ruddle History Tour, of course, with W.C. Fields Forever and I Am Your Waitress and a few of the other classics. Oh my God. Yeah, it should be all done. I heard it went, the dryer, my kid will ninja. Anyways, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, so it'd be, you never give me your money. So that would be the end. You never give me your money. Very good, James. You get bonus points today. James says you never give me your money would be the
Right.
finishing. So.
Yeah, there's a book right here, Beatles songs.
There you go. I've seen that a long time back.
This is a great book. I'll tell you what. This tells you the history of every song, like down to who wrote percentage wise.
Oh.
Like it says, like if I were to say, let me see.
Now I'm confused. So what does it say in your book? Because Loser List just threw out, you've got to hide your love away, which that would be close in contention. So it's either you never give me or this one.
Well,
It's
then I
gotta
have
be
this book,
Is that?
The Beatles Complete Scores.
Oh, neat.
This is a book that put actually the music of the Beatles through a computer, and it deciphered every note of every instrument, and it breaks it down into sheet music,
Wow.
even tablature and everything. So the very last song in this book, believe it or not,
Yuba Flats. No, I'm kidding.
when I call you up,
I
you're
forgot.
that engaged. I
That's a
have
good song.
heard
Yes, it is.
enough.
Who was it? Helen Reddy
Fun
or Anne
fact.
Murray? So help me. I don't like her version.
Fun fact about that song,
Yes.
to my knowledge, if we go in chronological order, You Won't See Me was like the first Beatles song longer than 3 minutes.
Wow. Time after.
Because I think every Beatles song
But,
before that was 2
you know what's
minutes
funny?
at most.
On the back of the box, it has a listing of all the songs in order.
Uh-huh.
And if you look at the last song here, what does that say?
I'm an idiot. I can't.
Oh, wait. I'm at the wrong.
Oh, you've really got a hold on me.
That's the order that they put it in. You got to hide your love away, and then you really got to. You know, that makes it so that's probably what the very last song
This
is.
is like splitting
And
hairs.
that's the blueprint right there. You know what I mean? Like, to play it in alphabetical order. The first song they have on here, A Day in the Life.
Oh, of course. Okay, that beats the across. Yeah, no wrong with the man. No, I'm gonna try and come home across my head. Anyways, excuse me.
So
I'm gonna get some more coffee. You two talk.
Okay, yeah, you really got a hold on me off with the Beatles. Is 3 minutes long. But I feel like
right.
at the time of when Rubber Soul came out, I remember seeing on the time length that You Won't See Me was the first song that was longer than 3 minutes.
Right. It's amazing. I mean, again, their body of work.
Now to look for sure.
But a book like this is what helped me learn all their songs, you know, to play them the way I do. I mean, like I studied, you know, how to play their stuff even. They had their own kind of feel to everything.
The ride was 3 minutes.
All right. And that was our Beatles factoids for the day.
Yeah.
They were.
Oh, you know what else I had I was going to show? I got some of these. You were talking about bootlegs.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of these I gotten over the years. This was the Cars at the Palladium.
Oh, cool.
1978. This was Huey Lewis and the News from 1982. Actually, this is a really great concert.
When it comes to the Cars, rest in peace, Rick Ocasek.
Oh, definitely. This is a band out of Canada, Kick-Axe, captured live.
Oh, yeah. There's a name.
Alive and kicking. Oh, man, this is a great show, too. They're from Canada. Here we go. Acoustic Kisses. This is really a good one. You want to see like the track listing on there?
I noticed that it has Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer for
Yeah,
which
maybe.
leads
I
me
don't
to
know. No, that's a reunion
yeah.
photo. That's a reunion photo from '96.
Uh, hmm.
This is remember this? Robert Savage.
Robert Savage. Why does that sound familiar to me?
He's from I forget where he's from. The Adventures of Robert Savage, Volume 1. I forgot why I got this. Here we go.
Oh,
Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder. Live in San Francisco, 1973.
Wow. During his great period. Oh, look at what the Steely God, that's some fun stuff.
There, look at this listing of songs. You make it out.
Wow. I still am glad I got to see Steely Dan, but I would have rather wanted to see him probably during that tour, to be honest. Oh man.
Wicked
I don't.
Lester.
Yeah, and only 4 of those songs ever got released on the Kiss box set in '01, but I ended
Yep.
up giving that
This
to
is
a friend of
great.
mine,
I
so I
enjoy
don't have
that.
any of that Wicked Lester stuff anymore. Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Oh, live in Los Angeles.
see, that's cool. I've got that Amoeba, whatever, just the little 4th tracker. That's pretty cool.
Now, yeah, that's what. And then I pulled out some of these.
Ah, the laser discs.
This is
My
This is
God.
RCA video discs. They're
Wow.
different than the laser disc. They're CED
Oh,
Selectavision.
okay.
So I have that one. I got a bunch of Elvis here.
Oh, there you go.
I love the packaging of them. They're really fun. I mean, they're just really, really cool.
I'm sorry, he
They're
still should
heavy.
have married Anne Margaret instead. I know he'd still be alive probably too. Well, there you go.
These things are, when you carry like 10 of them, they're heavy. I mean, literally heavy. They're weight. Couldn't believe how sturdy these things are.
Very much. Nice.
Yeah, I just love the packaging on them. It's really, really amazing. Here's a pretty rare one on CD. Love Me Tender.
Love me. The only ones I was gifted these many years ago, I've got Rock Show. Oh, there you go.
This is rare.
Yeah, very. I got the Rock Show one, the 76 stuff they put out in 80 for McCartney and Wings.
On this format?
Well, on the laser disc format. Oh, there you go. Saturday Night Fever. So you could boogie on and put that in the laser disc. And I did have Elephant Parts for Nesmith, but I ended up selling that one. Olivia, there you go.
I love Olivia. It's a special edition. Then let me see.
We'll get to your point in a minute, Juan.
Special edition disc. Believe it or not, they had these out on there. This is very rare.
Oh, how fun! Yeah.
This is like the Cinemax era. Remember?
See, that's when you would go to those little glamour cons and get them to sign their disc. Oh, there's Neil Diamond. Yes, jazz singer.
Lucy Arnaz is great in this movie.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I guess it'd be the 60th anniversary, Kimba. You're right. Yeah, Raging Bull. Yes, I saw that many, many moons ago. James says you put those discs in the machine, you actually pull the cover out and the record stays inside.
Yes.
And then when it's done, you push the sleeve back in and it puts it back in the cover. Oh, that's nice for the last waltz.
Yeah, this is very rare on this format.
Hi, Lisa. Why don't you come on up, Lisa? Mick, Lisa.
Yeah. Wait 1 second.
Mick, hello. Yes, 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 and yes.
Here we go.
Oh my. Yeah, we kind of got that on purpose. Even the Bee Gees couldn't save that. And that okay, you want to know something?
I
Talk
love this
about a
movie. I
movie
absolutely love this movie.
that I did not expect in 1980 to
For there to
work
be
in the movie
country.
theater. Yes. Yes, indeed. Da, da. Damn it, Chad. Yes, The Rose.
Actually, a great film. Even though I'm not really a fan of Bette Midler, but
Right. Yeah, Westworld? No, Road Warrior. I'm sorry. Urban Cowboy.
and then a great one.
Oh, of course. Rolling Papers not included.
Right. Also, I want to show this. This is pretty cool. Look at this picture. Somebody on a cover of a magazine.
Oh yeah, Collector's Choice. I used to get their catalogs, but I never
But look
seen
at that
one.
picture. Does that picture not look like Elvis is actually jamming with the Beatles? Like,
Yeah.
they really did a great job putting them together. Like, if you wanted to see them in the same photo.
Classic and film rare
I thought that was
promotional films
amazing.
restored. What timeline is that catalog there, Bello?
This is winter of 2015.
Oh, okay. So I'm wondering if that had to do with like when did that well, it had to be since I was down here, but when they made that DVD for the Beatles 1, I know they were going back and trying to clean it up. Maybe it was during that time
Right.
frame.
Yeah, probably.
That.
This is a book that I found in a collection, the 50s book.
Oh, nice.
This is a really, really neat book. It's done on like newsprint paper, but if you look at it, I mean, there are some like amazing, like just full page like things in here. It's like every page is just like it's a whole timeline of just the 50s. They even have like blow ups of like full New York Times pages in here.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. I'll show you something else. Where is it? Right, look, here's a blow up of like of a TV Guide page. It's wild. I'm like, I love these old. Where's the one I'm looking for? Wait, did I pass it?
Oh, there you go.
That's wild.
Link Ray and Fayette. I would have loved to have met both of those people live.
Oh my God.
Heh. Nice. Oh, there you go.
And it's the whole era.
Excuse me.
I'm trying to find my favorite picture out of this thing.
I have a friend of mine, David, his name is, here in town, who collects old school Westerns. And, oh, yeah, nice. And I think he is going to purchase my Rex Allen Sr. autographed album from 58.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He likes all that old stuff. Look at him there. Yeah, most people are like, who the hell's Phil Silvers? Well, you had
That's what I was looking for.
There you go. George Reeves.
I mean, this is a big book, too. I mean, like,
yes. You know that, right? So, that's what they're saying anyway. There is a really good movie called, I think it's called, is it Hollywoodland? Is that the one where they talk about George Reeves? Yes, and, oh, there you go. I'm dazed and confused. I'm hopelessly. Yes, I want you for the U.S. Army. But damn it, what was I saying? Shit, I forgot. The Zeppelin picture threw me up. Well, anyways, I'm reading. I think I mentioned that I was starting to read the Blackie Dammit book, which was Flea's dad, Red Hot Chili Peppers. And in his life, the first 50 pages are boring, but now we're starting to go. There you go. but we're starting to get into where he moves in the mid 1960s. He goes to UCLA. Now we're talking about John Cadis, I think that was his name, which is Anthony
Right.
Cadis's dad. Okay, he lived a Jack Kerouac kind of life in the late 50s, early 60s, and all that. But he lands at UCLA, and
Right.
he would be on campus, and who one day he would see, actually occasionally for at least the year that he was at UCLA, he saw Jim Morrison and Ray Manzarek because Cadis was getting into the film department, and that's how he
Right.
landed to see Morrison and Cadis. And then he answered an ad that was on the billboard for work. And who did he end up working for? But Ann Rutherford's mother. He was driving
Wow.
Ann Rutherford's mother. And sometimes he would also end up having to go to, damn it. I love all that stuff right there.
This is Madison Square Garden program right here from when is this?
Oh, geez, 79. Yeah, back when Backlund was
Remember this
him and
guy?
Bruno. No. I don't
Steve Travis?
No, that doesn't sound familiar
He was
to me
great.
right now. But he was talking about how, in a way, he was kind of a driving Miss Daisy for Miss Rutherford, and but he would go and Kroll. He would work for being extras in movies and others. Oh, there you. I don't know if I ever had that issue. The cover looks familiar though. But he talks about how, like, one day he'd have to go to Kirk Douglas's house because, like, he had to drop off a wallet that he left at another actor's house, and then once in a while he'd actually would have to stop at Mary Pickford's house, and he also visited Zappa's log cabin in Laurel Canyon. He had even I'll have to bring up the story sometimes, but there's an interesting Jimi Hendrix story for when he was playing a private party in 67, 66, 67, over there. James Farley is asking, do you have that Tori Amos poster available?
Tori Amos poster? Yeah. I have a bunch of posters.
Why Tori can't read. Yes.
Right here. Tori Amos.
There you go. 16 millimeter Kingdom, James Farley. Go and maybe he'll put them on sale.
Oh, he knows it. He knows it.
Yes. And,
I've been cleaning up around here. I've found a whole bunch of different things, man. My God.
So far, I'm going to end up spending, unfortunately, lots of money with Mello for all the Mego dolls that he had in the cabinet, the couple albums, let's see, what else? The Monkey Tour Pass, oh my God, I'll be broke. I'll be so broke.
I have like a bunch of books too. Like I've been looking them up. This is a stamp book, heritage yearbook, medical books. This one's called The Flashback 50s, Vintage Guinness Book World Records. Let me see. This is all car stuff.
Sure.
I do have this. This is pretty cool. I looked this up. This is a gigantic book on Picasso. And it goes for some pretty good money. So I'm going to be putting that up. These are old, like, collectible, like, remember these, the Big Reel? Did you ever see this magazine?
No, that's the first time I've ever seen. That's cool. Is that all film, like 16,
film? Yeah, it was it was a newspaper of all film dealers. This one's from 1979. Nice. But like that's how people would trade films, would be through that. Let me just move this, and then I'll show you something really cool. It's kind of weird doing this with one hand, but
that's what she said.
Here, I'm going to turn the camera around.
Okay.
It'll be easier than trying to balance.
With his hostess cupcake hat, it's in Mellow Vision.
Yeah, right. I've seen that. It does look like a hostess cupcake. I have a bunch of these. I love these old magazines that are literally from the 50s and the 60s. And these things are big, man. I mean, they're gigantic.
Oh yeah.
And what's cool is like, you know, like inside you get all the different ads and stuff. This is a Bride
Yes.
magazine from like 1953.
Yes, Astro. It did all fall off of a truck. That is how he's gotten all his.
Saturday Evening Post.
Yes, Norman
I
Rockwell.
got a bunch of Life magazines. I mean, and on eBay right now, I have this one.
The only Life ones I'm looking for are the Beatle related issue. Oh, look at you with the Mick.
That one's on eBay right now. So,
And I think
16 millimeter.
I'm trying to think. I don't think Monkeys ended up in Life magazine. I could be wrong, but I know they were in Look. I'm looking for those too, literally, because the Monkeys were very. They only ever did two articles in two different magazines, and of course the Playboy issues with John Lennon. You know, Beatles were there in '66, and then I used to own the. Let's see, what was it? December '80. I think was the one issue as Lennon got killed. It came released, and that April '81 was the other part of the Lennon interviews. I had those at one point.
I have the John Lennon Rolling Stone one where he's like curled up in a ball.
Yeah,
next to Yoko. That's a special John only issue.
Those playbills that are next to you remind me. I forgot to mention to you that I was over at an antique mall here in town. And it was a new dealer, and I tripped on a bunch of 1950s, early 50s playbills. I want to say from the New York area, but I could be wrong. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's a classic issue. It's not in great shape, but
Lucy
this is going up on eBay. That one will be.
And Desi and
look at that one with Queen Elizabeth. Look at how young Queen Elizabeth was here.
Yeah, she was a very young lizard.
Right. Exactly.
Oh boy.
Enough said.
Yeah, enough said. Christmas for Children.
Look magazine. Again, these things are giant, and again, the ads and the I mean, it's amazing. They really put a lot of care into their you know, this one's about Charlie Chaplin's daughter.
I didn't know she was in a movie.
Me neither.
Oh. I only found out something about a couple months ago, believe it or not. I didn't know Groucho Marx's daughter, Melinda, cut a couple 45s for VJ Records. One of them is actually a Northern Soul hit. Go figure. Did not know that. And I am just like, somebody found a stock copy, because most of the time when it came to, I guess, the Melinda Marx's, it's easier to find promos than stocks. And I was going, what the hell? How did you manage to find probably only 3 or 4 copies of a stock of Melinda Marx, and probably Groucho owned one? And then God knows.
Yeah, right.
Look at that terrifying looking babies in those companion magazines. This one there, that one there was just after he heard seconds of Yoko's first song. Oh.
1953.
Yes, Korea War was just barely Soviet life. Oh, comrade. Look, from January 67. He's capturing Big Bird of Happiness.
What is the triple S?
Well, I don't know. Let's see.
I don't know if I want to know.
Let's get Moose and Squirrel, and we'll get them to talk.
I have a couple of these.
You hidden commie.
You just can't. I have them all in like just different ones, man. I mean, it's amazing. It's again like going through time as I'm finding stuff.
I'm telling you, you've got. Yeah, I think Mello does need to have an estate sale, at least some of it, for clearing out. But I think, Astro, you might be making a good point here that I think even though he's bought this stuff probably from estate sales, he probably...
No, these are stuff that were traded to me or I was literally inherited.
Well, it is
I'm
time
finding this stuff on the property itself.
for the first annual estate sale.
These
Mellow
are on eBay. These are going on eBay tonight. So if you like TV guides, I'm putting at least 10 of them up.
Just the monkeys
These
are what
10.
I'm looking for.
Oh, this TV guide collector's all over. It's crazy. Too many things.
You betcha. Yeah. I'm gonna have to probably do another vinyl culling session probably in the next week or so. At least get
Yeah, right.
albums gone. Yeah. Got too much. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are about ready to wind this down, unfortunately, but I will say this. I want to thank everybody that's been on here. Tomorrow, if I'm going to do one tomorrow, it's going to be early afternoon.
Let me know.
Because it'll be, because I think I may have stuff to do around 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. So if it's going to be a show, it's going to be probably it would end no later than 3. So maybe it might be 1 to 3 tomorrow, Central Standard. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath on it. And yes, we are all friends here.
God bless you, King James.
And that's how I feel about all.
Yeah, are we? Yeah, if we're all signing off here, Paul, then thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming.
Sorry I wasn't on. Sorry I was kind of in and out.
It's all right. Don't worry
about it. Good show as always.
Well, thank you, sir. Same here, because you're everybody on it here makes it a great show. That's
take care, everybody. As I've
God bless.
I need to go take care of. So
yes,
until next time. Take care.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you something. Always powered by coffee each and every time. That is how this works for Mighty Psycho. Subscribe to everybody's channels, and like I said, if you haven't liked and subbed and you feel like it, please do it. If you feel like doing a dono too, also we have future Jukebox from Hell episodes. I've got maybe a couple episodes left for this season that are empty. If you got any requests, always put that in a comment too. And like I said, I know that this show is there's more and more people. I have had people come up to me this week going, "Hey, we've been spreading it word of mouth," and I'm like, thank you very much. You all are too kind. I have the best audience here. And I'm going to stay away from the debate today, ladies and gentlemen, on television. In fact, I need to probably do some more homework, especially with what the hell was that? Oh, by the way, before I forget, I did finally watch that Cotton Candy movie because I tripped on it in a feed today. Boy, oh boy, that was Ron Howard's second movie he ever directed. The music was good, actually. It was. I just don't know who the hell did the music for it, but the rest of the movie, God, it was dreadful. Just thought I'd throw that out there for you guys. But Mello, stick around for a second, please, after we get off of here. But like I said, everybody, take care. God bless. Rock on, and maybe we'll see.
God bless everybody.
Bye, guys.